Gunsmoke, transcribed earlier today from CBS. Around Dodge City and in the territory out west, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad, the transcribed story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
Look up ahead there, Mr. Dillon. Somebody's gone and left his wagon right out on the prairie.
No, there's a man down in front of it, Chester. And it sure looks like his team went off and left him.
What would he be doing out here with a busted wagon and no team?
And I expect he'll be glad to tell us. Come on, get up.
It's Mike Blocker.
Yeah. Hello, Mike.
Hello there.
Oh, this is a poor fix for a man to be in the day before his wedding, Mike.
Sure is. Well, it'll keep me sober, Marshal, and Matilda will appreciate that even if I don't make Dodge tonight. What happened, Mike? Where's your team? Oh, Chester, we hit a hole back there, and the whiffle tree busted, and that team... They just run off like they was glad to get shed of the whole dang thing.
Well, it must have been quite a hole you hit to do this.
No, not much. Look here, Marshal.
The bar's been sawed half in two.
Sure. It's them boys again.
What boys?
Them two crazy cowboys I hired on last fall.
Plummer and Webb, you mean?
Yeah. They've been funning me a lot lately.
You mean this is just a joke?
It's what they figured, I guess. Well, it ain't much of a joke to leave a man stranded on the prairie this way, especially when he's trying to get to town to be married. Now, this ain't so bad. Just yesterday, they cut the cinch on my saddle. Good thing the bronc got loose and bucked off before I could get mounted.
I wish I were as even-tempered as you are, Mike.
Well, Marshal, it don't pay to get mad.
No, but it seems to me Plummer and Webb are going a little far with their joke. Don't they want you to get married?
I don't know. I never asked them.
Oh, where are they now?
Oh, they rode into Dodge this morning. They'd see me at the wedding. I had to bring the wagon so that I could carry Matilda back to the ranch.
Well, we'll find your team for you. Maybe we can rig up a whiffle tree of some sort. You can buy a new one in Dodge.
Oh, I'd be beholden to you, Marshal.
You'll get to town in time for a drink yet. We'll ride along with you to see what you do, Mike. You want a beer, Chester?
Oh, no, sir. If you don't mind, Mr. Dillon, I think I'll go on down to the depot. The Santa Fe's about due, and I like to watch it come in.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll leave you here then.
Sure do thank you, though, all the same.
Well, I didn't say that I was buying.
You'd have had to. I'm broke.
Man has to be mighty careful of what he says around you. I'll see you later.
Okay, sir.
Bring me a beer, Sam, will you?
Hello, Matt.
Hello, Kitty.
Sit down.
Yeah.
Here, if it hadn't been for you and Chester, Mike Blocker never would have got to town today.
So he rode in an hour ago, and you already heard about it?
Matilda told me.
Oh. Yeah, That's right. I forgot about you and Matilda.
She's the only lady in this town who is my friend.
Here's your beer. Oh, thanks, man. You going to the wedding, Kitty?
She insists that I do.
You're pretty close friends, aren't you?
Pretty close, Matt. I guess it's partly so she can talk to me about things she wouldn't even dare mention to her nice friends.
Now, they're no better than you are, Kitty.
Maybe not. But there are more of them in the long run. That makes a difference. What do you want to know about Matilda and me?
Well, I've been wondering if there's any reason why either of those cowboys who work for Mike Blocker wouldn't want that wedding to come off tomorrow.
Plummer and Webb?
Yeah, that's right.
You must have some reason for wondering about it, Matt.
Well, man's friends always treat him a little rough before he gets married, but these boys have carried it pretty far.
It's jealousy, Matt.
No? Which one?
Plummer. He and Matilda used to see each other once in a while. Till she met Mike and fell in love with him.
Yeah. Has Plummer threatened her? Or Mike?
He's afraid of Mike in spite of his gentle temper.
Yeah, he should be.
But he told Matilda he'd make as much trouble as he could.
What kind of trouble?
Anything that'll embarrass her, I guess. Like a chivalry, but real unfriendly.
Now, they started their chivalry a little early. They even tried to get Mike crippled up a couple of days ago.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Well, nothing came of it, but I sure don't like to see anybody's wedding day spoiled. I think I'll look those two up and have a talk with them.
I swear I've been in every saloon in Dodge, Mr. Dillon. Maybe they ain't in town after all.
Well, we'll try the hotel, Chester.
Why don't you just throw them in jail till the wedding's over?
I'd like to. Now, wait a minute. There they are.
Yep. It's him, all right. I saw Mike over at the Longhorn taking on a few.
Well, even marrying a good woman makes a man nervous, Chester.
Oh, it sure does. Why, just the thought of it, and I want to go live with the Comanche.
Well, you can't let other men do all the marrying.
Why not?
I don't know, Chester, but it's what they say. Hello, Plummer.
All right.
Hello, Marshal.
What's on your mind, Marshal? I seen you come all the way across the plaza.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about the wedding tomorrow.
Oh? You ought to be talking to Mike Blocker. He's the one that's getting married. We ain't, are we, Webb?
No, we ain't. Did you think we was?
All right, that's enough. You're not dealing with Mike Blocker now. You're dealing with me, and my temper's a whole lot quicker than his.
No offense, Marshal. Webb didn't mean nothing.
No, I didn't mean nothing.
We're just in kind of good spirits. On account of the wedding and all.
Well, sure, you know how it is, Marshal.
You call it good spirits to try to get a man hurt 2 days before his wedding?
How?
Cutting the cinch on his saddle?
Oh. Mike told you.
He did.
He didn't seem to mind as much as you do, Marshal.
Don't be fooled by that. If Mike ever does get mad, there's going to be trouble. But I'm telling you to leave him alone.
Well, we ain't going to do nothing. Maybe a little chivalry after the wedding, that's all.
I don't want either one of you anywhere near that wedding.
Oh, now, Marshal, we was invited.
The invitation's off. You understand me?
Oh, but Marshal...
Shut up, Webb. He's the law. We won't go near the wedding if he says so. Oh, sir, we won't go nowhere near it. That satisfy you, Marshal?
Matilda looks beautiful, man.
Now, being a bride sure does something to a woman, Kitty.
It's the groom that really does things, too.
Chester, you're jealous. If you'll excuse me now, I promised her I'd rush to her room and help her get packed. You should see all the lovely new clothes she has. She's been saving for years.
Yeah, I know. Mike told me. He's real proud.
You're going to wait around to see him off, aren't you?
Yeah, we'll be here. I couldn't get Chester away from that free liquor anyway.
This liquor may be free, but it ain't too stout. I'm on my third glass, and I don't feel a thing.
You don't have enough blood in you to move it around, Chester. That's your trouble.
Well, I'd have plenty of blood if it wasn't for old quacks like you bleeding me every time I get a cold.
I never bled a man in my life, and you know it.
Well, maybe you didn't, but I sure have been bled by other doctors.
Don't blame me if you're fool enough to let him do it. See, you know, Matt, I've always said if people would just stand up for their doctors once in a while, it'll improve the whole medical profession.
Well, you may be right, Doc.
Of course I might.
I'm going to go see if that jug is empty yet.
Yeah, I think Mike's drunk half of it himself.
Take a look around outside while you're at it, huh, Chester?
For Plummer and Webb?
Oh, they haven't showed up yet, but they might be waiting.
All right, sir, I'll do it.
Oh, it's a nice wedding. Wasn't it, Matt?
Yeah, fine.
I brought some ammonia along in case Mike got too weak to go through with it.
His entrance was a little shaky, but he got his color back about the halfway mark.
Matt.
What? Oh, what's the matter, Kitty?
Matt, it's terrible. That poor girl.
What's happened?
It's her clothes, all her new clothes. Matt, we went to her room to get a pack, and everything's been torn to shreds.
What?
It's a mess. And Matilda's up there crying her heart out.
A plumber, I
Of
suppose.
course you did it. Who else would? Poor girl.
You better go back to her, Kitty. And don't tell anybody about it yet.
All right, Matt.
Hey, well, what are you going to do, man?
Find Plummer and Webb and lock them up. Mike's pretty drunk, and I got an idea he won't take this joke as easy as he did the other. I found Chester outside, but there was no sign of Plummer and Webb. We figured they must have sneaked into Matilda's room during the wedding ceremony, and while she stood downstairs happily becoming Mike's bride, they were up there ripping her trousseau to pieces. Still, I was less worried about her than about Mike. It was one thing to plague him, but to practice this cruelty on Matilda might well be the last straw. Chester and I went from saloon to saloon, but Plummer and Webb seemed to have disappeared.
They must have left town, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, the Oasis over there is the only place we haven't been into yet. Might as well have a look.
It's making pretty bold calling this place the Oasis.
Oh, why?
It's the poorest saloon in town. A thirsty jackass wouldn't stop here to sniff a rain barrel.
Yeah, not if he knew his way around, he wouldn't.
Look at there. Even the door's busted off.
Yeah, it sure is.
Mr. Dillon, this place is a wreck. Where is everybody?
There's been a fight here, Chester. Oh, there's somebody.
Look at his head. He's laying in front of him. What? Well, that's Webb.
Yeah. He got his neck broke, Chester.
Where'd that come from?
They're behind the bar there. Maybe it's Plummer.
No, that's not Plummer.
Hey, get the beer off the bar and throw it on him, Chester.
Yes. Don't hit me.
I'm the marshal. Nobody's going to hit you. Now, who are you, mister?
Joe, I'm the bartender.
Well, what happened here, Joe?
Why, that was crazy. He's still here, Marshal?
No, he's gone. Who was he, Joe?
The fellow that Plummer and Webb worked for. Mike something. He was awful mad, Marshal. Awful drunk, too.
Where'd Plummer go?
I don't know. I tried to stop it, but they hit me. Knocked me out.
Was anybody else in here?
Just them, and then Mike come in.
Joe Webb's lying on the other side of the bar. He's dead.
Dead?
Yeah. Did you see who killed him?
He pulled a knife on Mike. He was going to use it, too. Somebody killed him, huh?
Was it Mike?
I got hit about that, Marshal. I didn't see no more.
All right, Joe. You do something about Webb there, huh?
Look what they done to my place. It's ruined. Who's going to pay for all this?
I don't know, Joe, but I'll try to find out. I didn't find out, not that night anyway. We looked around the oasis inside and out, and then I sent Chester down to wait for Mike in case he showed up at Matilda's place. So I scouted the town again. But shortly after daybreak, we both gave up and met back at the office.
Miss Kitty was down here, Mr. Dillon. She stayed with Matilda all night.
Oh, good. How's Matilda taking it?
Well, I don't think she cares about her clothes anymore. She's so worried about Mike.
You didn't tell her about Webb being killed, did you?
Oh, my goodness, no, sir. I wouldn't do that. She'll find out soon enough, poor thing. What's Mike?
Yeah, it's Mike. I've come to turn myself in, Marshal. Where you been, Mike? Asleep? Oh, where's Plummer?
Oh, I don't know. I was so drunk and so mad, I don't remember much of anything. I think he knocked me on the head while I was finishing off Webb. I know I ain't seen Plummer since. I just been down to the oasis. Joe ain't seen him neither.
Well, nobody has, I know of, but where were you?
Oh, I was awful drunk, Marshal. I must have got as far as Kelly's stable, crawled into a stall there. At least that's where I woke up this morning.
Well, I'm going to have to lock you up, Mike.
Yeah, that's why I come. Marshal, that was a bad thing they done to Matilda.
Yeah, it was. But you shouldn't have killed anybody for it.
Well, maybe.
Lock him up, Chester.
Yes, sir.
I'll bring back some coffee.
This way, Mike. I sure am sorry to have to lock up a man like you, Mike. If you didn't, Chester, I'd just go find Plummer and kill him. There you are.
Yeah.
Mr. Dillon will be back directly. Then you can have some coffee.
I don't want nothing. Don't move, Chester.
Well, Plummer.
I'll take your gun.
Well, we've been looking everywhere for you.
Are you glad you found me? Morning, Mike.
What are you doing here, Plummer?
I come for you, Mike. I'm going to take you out back and kill you.
It's a good thing you got a gun.
I didn't have a gun last night.
What'd you hit me with, then?
Table leg.
I should have killed you, too.
You didn't kill Webb.
What?
You knocked him out, that's all.
What are you talking about? He's dead, ain't he?
Sure, he's dead. After I hit you with that table leg, I busted his neck with it.
What for?
So they'd hang you for it.
Well, then what are you doing here now? I've already admitted to killing him.
I got to thinking, that's why.
Thinking what?
Well, when Doc gets a look at Webb, he'll know you couldn't have hit him that hard. And anyway, I figured you'd remember about it all.
They'll hang you, Plummer.
Not me. I'm going to kill you, and then I'm going to be gone to Texas.
You shoot me, they'll hear you.
I ain't going to shoot you. Less than I have to. I'm going to cut you, Mike. And you won't look very good when Matilda sees you. Matilda? We was friends once, Mike. Real good friends. You know the kind. You and Matilda. I'll tell you what it was like while I'm cutting your throat. Get out of that cell now. Chester, I got Chester. You all right?
It was Plummer, Mr. Dillon. He hit me. I'm okay now.
Come on, then. Come on. Mike's gone.
Plummer must let him out.
Let him out. Nothing. He's probably killed him. Let's look out back.
Look, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah.
It's Plummer.
He's been beat to death.
He sure has.
His gun's missing, but he got that knife into Mike first. He's leaving an easy trail to follow. Come on.
He headed for the alley. I wonder you didn't run into him out on the street.
If he got that far. All right, stay back, Chester. I'll go around the corner first.
Yes, sir.
No, Mark! I got him. All right, come on. Mike, what did you shoot for?
I didn't know it was you, Marshal. Thought maybe Plummer had come to.
Now, Plummer's dead. You're not in very good shape yourself.
He cut me a little before I got to him. Ain't bad.
But I might have killed you.
Thank you for not trying, Marshal.
Well, we better get you up to Doc. He'll dig that bullet out of your arm.
Sure.
By the way, Mike, I saw Doc a few minutes ago. He'd been down looking at Webb. What did you hit him with?
Oh, Plummer killed him. Told me so. He had a table leg, Marshal.
Oh, Doc figured something like that.
Doggone if Dodge ain't growed a heap since I was here.
It is very big.
Front Street must have 7, 8 saloons. A lot of towns I've seen don't even have that many houses.
We are going to stay here?
Now, Nina, I told you not to fret yourself. Nobody's going to bother you. Well, look there. The Longhorn Saloon. You know, a man might find whiskey fit to drink in a place like that. Just drop your reins over the rack, Nina. Your old pony ain't about to go nowhere.
I will wait right here, Cuff.
Here in the dust and heat? Come on, get down off that old horse. You've been riding so long you need to walk around some.
All right.
Anyway, it's cooler inside. If they got a ladies' parlor, you can sit in there. Well, sit on the porch. Come on. Sure, they got a parlor. There's a side door over there, Nina. You go on in and wait. Glass of rye, bartender.
Hold that drink, bartender. Maybe you picked the wrong place to drink, mister.
That's so?
Places down along River let mixed women come in and sit.
I've heard tell.
Maybe that's where you better go.
Bartender, I ain't got my drink yet.
Mister, you don't understand what I said. That bartender ain't going to give you no drink.
Maybe he is.
No, he ain't. This place don't serve nobody that walks in with no dirty Mexican.
All right, hold it.
Very well, stranger.
Hold it! All right, you men, take Lawson out to a horse trough and soak his head for him. The rest of you get about your business. Come on.
You busted up what could have been a man-sized fight.
Well, fights like that lead to killings.
Darned if they don't.
You're a cool one, mister.
You get that way in my profession.
Oh, what's that?
Army scout. I'm on my way to Fort Wallace. What's yours?
United States Marshal. My name's Dillon.
I noticed they paid you a heap of attention. I'm Cuff Peters and proud to know you. Marshal, I want you to meet somebody. This here's Nina. She's my wife.
How do you do?
Ma'am?
Cuff,
Nina and me been traveling quite a spell.
Oh? Where'd you ride from?
Come up from Texas. Figured we'd stay over here in Dodge if I can find a place. Nina's been feeling poorly.
How long do you figure on staying in Dodge, Cuff?
Can't rightly say, Marshal. Why?
Well, you, made trouble for yourself when you hit Hank Lawson.
That right.
It'll bother him, Cuff, and he'll be after you. I know you can't make Fort Wallace, so it might be better if you and your wife rode out to Fort Dodge and stayed there.
He's right, Cuff. We should go on right now. We don't want no trouble.
You've been riding enough, the way you feel. Besides, I got things to do.
Look, Cuff, I don't want any trouble here.
I sure don't aim to cause any. Now, how about joining me in a drink, Marshal? I've still got a glass of rye coming.
Dodge was real quiet for the next week, except when a drunked-up cowboy tried to burn the town down because he lost at a faro table. I kept an eye on Hank Lawson, but the trouble I'd been expecting between him and Cuff Peters seemed to blow over. Chester heard somewhere that Cuff had found a room for Nina and himself at the widow Helgerson's place out at the edge of town. I didn't see Cuff again except once when he drove the widow's buckboard into town, loaded it up with food and supplies, and drove back out. Then one morning while Chester was cleaning up the office, Cuff walked in.
Morning, Marshal.
Hello, Cuff. I never did get a chance to pay you back for that drink you bought me.
The time will come, Marshal.
Cuff, this is Chester Proudfoot. Cuff Peters.
Well, sir, I'm that proud, Mr. Peters.
Howdy.
Mr. Dillon told me how you knocked old Hank Lawson across the bar at the Longhorn. I sure do wish I'd seen that.
Chester isn't too fond of Hank.
Well, if I'm going to hit him again, I'll let you know.
Well, thank you.
Marshal, what I come for was to get your help.
Oh, what is it, Cuff?
Well, I don't know much about doctors and all. And they say you're a good friend to the one in town.
Oh, I've known Doc for a long time. What do you need?
Well, I'm not ailing, but Nina's feeling real puny.
Oh?
I think maybe someone should have a look at her. We ain't been married but 5-6 months, and I don't understand much about women folk and their ailments.
Chester, run up and get Doc, will you?
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon.
You see, Marshal, the thing that bothers me the most is that I got to start out for Fort Wallace right soon. I already stayed here longer than I intended.
Well, if your wife's sick, you can't take her with you on a ride like that.
That's what I want to know from the doc. Is she too sick to ride?
Well, you could leave her here. She could come on later.
Mm-hmm. I just pure hate to leave her behind if I didn't have to.
Oh, hello, Matt. Where's the patient?
Doc, this is Cuff Peters, Doc Adams.
How do you do, Mr.
Howdy.
Mr. Peters wants you to have a look at his wife.
I'm ready. My bag's by the door there.
Doc, maybe you ought to know before you come with me. My wife's Mexican.
Well?
The only reason I mention it, some folks here seem to take exception.
Oh, for heaven's sake, standing here talking isn't going to help Mrs. Peters any if she's sick, you know. You ready to go, young fella?
I'm ready, Doc. Marshal, I want to thank you.
Sure, Cub. Goodbye.
So long.
See you later, man. He's a nice little fella, ain't he, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, he seems to be, Chester.
What's he do for a living?
He's an Army scout, he says. On his way out to Fort Wallace.
I always had in mind that scouts was more tricky. Shucks, he's no more sly than me.
Yeah, don't let Cuff fool you, Chester. He's small, but he can take care of himself.
Well, one thing, he don't seem to let nothing upset him none.
Well, he's worried about his wife, Chester. Plenty. Chester, you're going to get a bellyache.
I can't help it, Mr. Dillon. Ever since I was a little boy, I just get a craving for wheat cakes at supper.
4 servings?
Well, It does make up to quite a pile, don't it? But then that molasses kind of keeps them wetted down.
Oh, hello, Matt. Chester.
Sit down,
Oh, Doc.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you going to eat?
No, Matt, no. I ate out at Widow Helgeson's with Cuff and his wife.
How is she, Doc?
She's resting, ain't she? She's a pretty little thing, Matt. Just as nice and sweet.
Yeah, she is.
What was wrong with her, Doc?
Nothing that won't be right in about 6 more months.
Well, that don't make sense, Doc.
She's going to have a baby, Chester.
She is?
Yeah, well, it only took a minute to see that.
I guess Cuff meant it when he said he didn't know much about women.
Well, I should think a baby be easy enough to tell about.
Chester.
Oh, yes. Cuff sent a message to you, Matt. He's going on out to Fort Wallace. Says after he reports in to the colonel and gets a place ready out there, he'll come back for Mrs. Peters.
Now, that's a 10-day ride there and back, Doc.
Well, I know, man. Why?
I don't like Mrs. Peters staying alone here in Dodge.
Well, there's nothing to be worried about. She's in good hands here.
Yeah, but the widow Hugerson's an old lady, Doc. She wouldn't be much help to Nina.
Well, what kind of help would she be needing, Mr. Dillon?
More than an old lady could give her. If Hank Lawson finds out that she's alone here.
That's about everything, Mrs. Peters?
Yes. And thank you.
I'll give you a hand out to the buckboard.
Oh, it's not that much. I can carry it.
Well, I'll get the door for you then, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. Good day.
Good day, ma'am.
Well, if it ain't Mrs. Peters come to town to do a week's shopping.
I beg your pardon?
Excuse me, ma'am, I ain't being very polite. This here's Cane Twig. I'm Hank Lawson.
What do you want?
Now, surely you remember me, ma'am. You ought to. I was the fellow your husband hit in the mouth his first day in town.
I remember you. Now let me pass.
Well, now, ain't I being a miserable cuss letting you carry all them heavy sacks? See, I help you some.
Please.
Just put him in the wagon for you.
Oh.
Oh, that was mighty careless of me. They slipped plumb out of my hands. I hope there was nothing in there to break.
Leave me alone, please.
Well, now, Mrs. Peters, I don't know why you're upset. You know I wouldn't do nothing to harm a fine lady like you. Besides, your husband might try to give me another lesson in manners, and that scares me real bad. I just want to show you how much I learned. Now, you go on and get into that buckboard. Go on. All we're going to do is just start you for home, Miss Peters. Untie them lines so we can face that team down the street.
Sure.
Like I say, ma'am, I don't want you to fret. Stand aside, Twig. All right, ma'am, hang on. How is she, Doc?
She's all right, Matt. She's fine.
And the baby?
There wasn't anything I could do.
Those miserable, filthy
Now,
beasts.
take it easy.
Take it easy. What are you talking about, Matt? Those men should be
No, kid. Matt did all he could. He even roughed them up a little on the way to jail.
Oh.
And then yesterday morning, the judge fined them and turned them loose.
Find them. Probably all of $50.
Kitty, be sensible.
You and your precious law. I'm sick of it.
You have to go by it, Kitty, whether it seems right or not.
I don't have to do nothing.
Now, Kitty, don't talk like that.
If I was a man, I'd shoot him in the belly.
Oh, now, Kitty.
Oh, leave me alone, both of you.
Kitty. Look, Kitty. Why don't you go in and talk with her, huh? She needs another woman, huh? Go on.
Nina, can I come in?
Oh, it's terrible, Matt.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do?
Well, there's nothing more I can do. Officially.
No, just that's right.
Look, Doc, I want you to keep Nina in your office. You can keep an eye on her there. Cuff will be back in a few days.
And then you'll tell him?
Yeah. Yeah, then I'll tell him.
Hello, Marshal. Chester?
Oh, Mr. Peters.
Cuff?
I just got back. Widow Helgeson says there's been an accident. I should come see you.
Well, your wife was hurt bad, Cuff, but she's better now, though.
Where is she?
She's up in Doc's office. Chester will show you.
I know the way.
It just makes me sick, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, he's likely been in his saddle all day, riding to get back to her. Then he gets here, and...
How was she tonight?
Well, she ate the supper Kitty brought over.
That's more than she's done in a week. You know, I'd kindly hate to be Hank Lawson.
Have you seen him around?
Yes, sir. Him and Twig been hanging around the Longhorn. Hank asked me was anybody looking for him. Then he laughed.
What'd you say to him?
Nothing, like you told me. I just walked on out.
Yeah, good.
What do you figure Cuff will do, Mr. Dillon?
I don't know.
Cuff's so mild and quiet and all. But I got a feeling he'd be mighty mean if once he got riled.
I want to thank you, Marshal, for all you and Chester and Doc done for Nina.
I'm sorry, Cuff.
Now, I wonder if you'd hold my gun for me?
Well, what are you going to do?
I'm going to look for Hank Lawson, and I'm going to mock him. Mock him good.
That way somebody's going to get hurt.
That's a fact, Marshal.
Look, Cuff, I won't stand for a killing. Now, Nina's well enough to travel. You could start for Fort Wallace. We'd fix a bed and a wagon for you.
I'm going to start for Wallace, all right. But not until I've seen Hank Lawson. Well, will you hold my gun?
till you come back for it.
Thank you.
Oh, Cuff.
Yeah?
Chester and I were just talking about going up to the Longhorn for a drink. We thought maybe we might walk with you.
The company'd be fine, but it's my deal.
Sure.
Come back to town just a little while ago. This time, when I lay eyes on him, I'm going... Well, if it ain't little feller himself. But I see the marshal come along so's he wouldn't get hurt.
I'm just here to see that no shooting starts, Hank.
Yeah. What's on your mind, Cuff?
I left my gun at the marshal's office.
So,
After you drop yours on the floor, I'm going to make you bleed.
figure to take me with your fist?
That's right.
All right, boys, move back. Make a little room here. All righty, Cuff. Throwed my gun down.
Chester, just so Hank's friends don't get too excited and maybe want to help him out, move down to the end of the bar.
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon?
There'll be no gunplay here, Hank. What's between you and Cuff, you'll settle yourself. Right in here.
That's good enough for me, Marshal. All right, little fella. Come and get it.
Now I'm going to take you apart, Lawson. Bit by bit.
That's the way you figure it. That's it. I say. Lucky punch is all that was. Just a lucky punch. That won't happen.
Get up, Lawson.
You dirty little pig. I'm going to slit your throat.
Drop that knife, Hank.
Never mind, Marshal. He's going to fight with a knife. I'll fix me one, too. Yeah. Now, Lawson, if you're going to fight to cut, I'm ready. Fight or drop it. Now get out of here. Because if I see you again before I leave, I'm going to finish what I started.
Oh.
My gracious alive, I ain't seen anything like that since I left Waco.
Cuff, as soon as you get your breath, I'd like to buy you that drink I owe you.
Thank you, Marshal. I figure I could use it. Because my wife and me's got a long ride ahead of us.
Over here, Matt. Take a look at these.
What?
Which do you think's prettiest?
Oh. I don't wear galluses, Kitty. Not like those, anyway.
Oh, Matt. Mr. Jonas ordered them all the way from New York. We got to encourage him. The store will never stock anything but beans and ammunition.
Well, I can use beans and ammunition, but I won't wear those.
They're lovely. You'd look nice in a pair of bright suspenders.
Galluses.
All right, galluses. You like the purple ones?
No. But they're not as bad as those pink and orange ones. But what is that they got stitched on them, anyway? Chickens?
Don't be silly. They're parrots. Real fancy,
Yeah,
Matt.
they sure are.
I'll buy them for you.
No, you won't.
Please, Matt.
Give them to Chester if you want. They're more his style than mine.
All right, I will. You refuse to be elegant.
I refuse. And if Chester has any sense, he will, too. Wearing those, people will think he's a whiskey drummer or a barber.
That beats looking like a buffalo hunter.
Mr. Dillon?
Oh, you looking for me, Chester?
Yes, sir. Hello, Miss Kitty.
Good morning, Chester.
Mr. Dillon, there's a sergeant from Fort Dodge over at the office. Major Evans sent him in.
Oh, what does he want?
He says the major... Gracious alive, look at them galluses. My...
What does he want, Chester?
He says the major wants to talk to you.
Oh.
Right away, he said. Chicken.
Well, where is the major?
Hmm?
The major.
Out at Fort Dodge, I guess.
Oh, Chester, you tell the sergeant I might ride out sometime tomorrow if I'm not busy.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's only 5 miles, Matt. Might be important.
I know, but I've dealt with Major Evans before, Kitty. Was there any mail this noon, Chester?
No, sir, not a thing. For 3 days now.
Yeah, that much less trouble.
Uh-oh. Here comes some trouble crossing the plaza.
Now what?
Major Evans.
Huh? And I guess he really does want to see me.
Sure looks like it.
Good afternoon, Marshal.
Well, how are you, Major? Why don't you sit down?
No, thanks.
Hello, Major Evans.
Hello, Chester. Marshal, I sent Sergeant Bowers after you this morning.
Well, I was figuring on maybe riding out tomorrow, Major.
I prefer not to wait another day.
Oh, what's the trouble?
Pawnees are raiding again.
I hadn't heard that.
Well, it's an Army matter. Except for one thing.
Oh?
They've been supplied with rifles, Marshal, and I'm convinced those rifles come out of Dodge.
Why?
Well, it's the closest source of supply, and I want you to stop it.
Well, I'll gladly stop it, Major. If it's true. We can find that out easily enough.
How?
We'll go over and see Mr. Jonas right across the street there. I'll be back shortly, Chester.
Okay, sir.
Come along.
Who is this Jonas, Marshal?
He's the only man in Dodge who sells rifles.
Oh, I see.
Anybody who's been buying lately, he'll know.
Can he be trusted?
I trust him.
Well, somebody's been buying rifles here, and they might have paid this Jonas to keep it quiet.
He isn't that kind of a man, Major.
Well, I hope you're going to buy something this time, Marshal.
Well, I'm afraid not, Mr. Jonas, but I want you to meet Major Evans from Fort Dodge.
How do you do, Major?
Mr. Jonas?
What can I do for you?
We'd like to know if anybody's been buying rifles in quantity lately.
Indian trouble, huh?
Yeah, I told you, Marshal,
Told him what?
that you've been selling rifles to some gunsmuggler.
No, Major, I don't believe I have.
How do you know whether you have or not? Anybody can walk in here.
Sure they can. But if I didn't know 'em, and they bought up a wagon load of rifles on the sudden, I'd tell the marshal about it right off. The only men who've ever been in here are buffalo hunters, and they only buy 2 or 3 rifles at the most.
Well, Major?
Those rifles are coming from Dodge somehow. I know they are. And I'll stop it if I have to search every wagon that leaves here.
You mean you'd use soldiers for that?
Yes?
There'd be trouble. Sooner or later, they'd try to stop some hardhead who'd start shooting.
Soldiers are trained to shoot back, Marshal.
I don't want innocent men shot down for no reason at all,
The
Major.
Pawnees raided a ranch down on Crooked Creek just this morning, Marshal, 50 miles from here.
They did. But how come nobody's heard about it?
The man and the woman can't be moved, and their 2 boys were killed at once. The cavalry patrol found them this morning and sent a messenger to the fort.
Well, why didn't you tell me this before? We got to get Doc down there.
I'm on my way there myself. We'll give you an escort, Marshal.
Good. If you can keep up with us. We rode hard, but it was nearly dawn when we reached what was left of the ranch on Crooked Creek. It had been burned, of course, and the stock destroyed. Half a dozen men of the cavalry patrol were standing on all-night watch while their Indian scout Tobeel slept peacefully in his blanket. The lieutenant in charge informed us that the man and the woman had both died soon after he dispatched his messenger to Fort Dodge. But Doc wanted to have a look at him anyway, so Major Evans and Chester and I went to the fire, had a cup of coffee.
I don't know anything I'd rather have right now than this coffee.
You ought to join the Army, Chester.
The Army doesn't usually serve coffee all night, and I don't approve of this fire.
Major, look at Tobeel over there. If he thought the Pawnees would be back, he'd have put the fire out himself.
Sound asleep. I suppose you're right, Marshal. After all, he's an Indian himself.
He's a good scout, too. Yeah, I've known Tobeel a long time.
He's rather undisciplined, but valuable.
I'll bet he is. On both counts. Oh, Doc. Well?
All the usual things, Matt. And a few new ones.
Chester, get Doc some coffee, will you?
Oh, sure.
Scalped, I suppose.
For a start, Major.
Worse than that?
How that man lived as long as he did, I don't know.
Savage devils.
But I think the woman was unconscious during most of it. The man must have tried to kill her and only grazed her head.
How do you know, Doc?
Here's your coffee, Doc.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chester. The groove across her head was too narrow for a rifle bullet, Matt. And I don't think those Pawnees had pistols.
No, but they certainly had rifles.
Oh, that reminds me. I dug a bullet out of the man, Matt. Here it is.
Oh. That's funny.
What is?
This is a .44 caliber. You don't see many of them anymore. Here, take a look, Major.
Yes, I believe you're right. What do you make of it, Marshal?
Major, I think I can find this Gunsmuggler.
You do?
Yeah. I'd like to borrow Tobeel over there to help me.
My scout? What for?
Well, those Pawnees have a day's start on us, but with Tobeel's help, I think I can catch up with them.
Oh, no. No, I'm afraid that'd bring out the whole tribe. No, I'll run this war party down myself as soon as their supply of arms is cut off.
Well, there'll just be Tobeel and Chester and me, Major. It's the Gunsmuggler I'm after, not the Indians.
Then I'll go with you.
Now, they'd spot a troop of cavalry, but 3 of us can get through the country without their knowing it if we have any luck at all.
Just what do you have in mind, Marshal?
I'll tell you later, if it works.
Well, I guess I can't stop you.
No, you can't. And I'll go without Tobeel if I have to.
Yes, you would. All right, Marshal, take him.
Thanks.
I just hope you know what you're doing.
Major, does a man ever know? For sure.
Pawnee ride slow. They don't think we follow.
Well, I just hope they don't find out, Tobiel.
Too bad they find out. Maybe 30 Pawnee war party. They kill us very easy.
We better breathe our horses a little. Let's stop here.
Right now, I wish I was in the Army. I'd feel a whole lot safer.
Marshal, why we follow Pawnee?
Yeah. I'd feel better if I knew myself. Maybe.
Well, I'll tell you. First of all, that was a .44 caliber bullet Doc found in that rancher's body.
Only Henry rifle shoot 44, huh?
Yeah, that's right, Tobiel.
My, I ain't seen a .44 Henry since I can remember.
No. Most of the buffalo hunters around here use a .45. Or if they use a Sharps or a Remington, that's a .50. You just don't see many .44s.
Army, they have all Springfield 45.
Yeah, but somebody's cornered a bunch of them Henry .44s and sold them to the Pawnees. Is that what you figure?
Yeah, that's right, Chester. But whoever it is didn't think far enough ahead.
What do you mean?
Well, he sold his rifles, all right, but his customers are going to have to come back to him for ammunition. They can't get it anyplace else. And the market's all his.
Sounds to me like he's created a pretty good business.
Yeah, too good. Now those Pawnees will be looking for him. And him alone.
Marshal right. Most Indian only need rifle. Steal ammunition all over. One place, other place. Pawnee no find 44 bullet no place.
So they'll go back to this man. They have to find him. And if we can keep on their trail long enough, we'll just naturally find him, too.
30 Pawnee on warpath, all armed with good rifle. Maybe find us before we find them.
Yeah. I guess it could work both ways.
Well, nobody's going to find anybody if we sit here. All right, let's get moving. The Pawnee Trail led south in a straight line, as though they knew exactly where they were going. We followed them for 2 days. And on the third, Tobiel informed us that the war party had been joined by another one of about equal strength. A band of Indians this large would protect itself with a ring of Scots, so we were forced to drop back and follow them more slowly. And then they turned to the east. And on the fourth day, we began to wonder if we were wrong about their trying to find the Gunsmuggler. Maybe they were just going to lose themselves in Oklahoma territory.
Big country, Marshal. Pawnee maybe blow apart like sand.
You mean they might separate and wait a while before raiding back into Kansas?
Sometimes do.
Mr. Dillon, look. Yonder comes a rider.
What?
White man. Cowboy.
Yeah. He's riding pretty hard.
Ride like man afraid.
Now, let's wait here for him. Oh, boy.
Hello.
Hello.
You're headed in the wrong direction.
Oh, why?
You men are smart. We'll turn around and ride. This country's alive with Pawnee.
You see any?
If I had, I probably wouldn't be here to tell you about it. But I seen plenty of sign, and a worse kind of sign, too.
What do you mean?
They had a powwow of some sort about 20 miles back from you, mister. They left a white man there.
Oh? Was he dead?
Just about.
Did you talk to him?
I talked to him, but he didn't have much to say, not with no tongue.
You left him there?
That's not all they done to him. But he could still use one hand. I give him my 6-gun.
Oh, I see.
The funny thing, though, there was wagon tracks leading into that camp and leading out of it, too. Can't figure it no how.
Only Wapali no keep wagon, Marshal.
Marshal? You're chasing them Indians?
No. It's the wagon we're after. And whoever's driving it.
Well, your business, Marshal. But I'm riding all the way to Dodge, and I'm going to stay there.
Maybe we'll see you when we get back.
I'll be there. But I wouldn't gamble on seeing you. So long.
So long.
Well, what do you make of it, Mr. Dillon?
Well, as Tobeel says, the Pawnees wouldn't fool around with a wagon. There must have been more than one white man.
We find wagon, I think, maybe 5, 6 hours.
Yeah, but it'll be dark soon.
Tobeel track wagon and dark.
We're going to have to move fast to be out of this country by daylight.
We move.
Yeah, that's the wagon. But I only see one man there, Tobeel.
One man. Big fire. Full white man fire.
Well, we've crawled close enough. Let's stop here.
There.
We gonna rush him, Mr. Dillon?
If he starts shooting, Chester, we'll have the Pawnees down on us.
Wait for sleep. Tobeel. Crawl up. Cut throat.
No. No, Tobeel. I gotta be sure this is the right man.
Yeah, but how are you gonna find out?
Well, bluff him. Look, Chester, you and Tobeel stay here. I'm going to walk up to that fire.
You're taking an awful chance, Mr. Dillon.
Play on ye.
Thanks.
Stop where you are. Get your hands up.
No.
I'll kill you.
And my friends out there will kill you.
What friend?
Put your gun away, mister. You haven't got a chance.
Who are you anyway? What are you doing here?
Put up your gun. They might get nervous.
How do I know anybody's out
All
there?
right, then shoot. And you'll find out. Well, go ahead.
You must be crazy. All right, I'll put it up. There.
All right, now tell me about you and the Pawnees.
Pawnees? What are you talking about?
I want to know where you got those rifles you sold them. Those Henry 44s.
You're a lawman.
Don't try it, mister. You can't outdraw me.
Maybe not. But I'd sure bring them Indians down on you fast.
That you won't live to see them.
I won't hang either.
You won't hang. You'll get about 10 years in prison. It's not enough, but that's all you'll get.
What are you, a sheriff or something?
A U.S. Marshal.
No, Marshal, all I gotta do is shoot, or make you shoot. And them Pawnees will take care of the rest. So, I make you a deal.
I don't make deals, mister.
Well, you have to make this one if you want to live. Because I've decided I'd just as soon die right here as spend 10 years in prison.
Well, what about your partner?
A partner? You know everything, don't you?
Just about.
You can't touch him. He's with the Pawnees. They keep him as sort of a hostage till I get back from Tascosa with more ammunition.
You buy the rifles in Tascosa?
Sure. But them Indians is kind of mad about not finding 44 caliber bullets real handy. We foxed them good.
You're not very bright, mister. How do you suppose I know about your partner?
How did you?
We found him where you met the Pawnees. He was dead.
Dead?
Yeah. You want me to tell you about it?
Well, what's there to tell? They got mad and killed him.
He died slow, mister. Real slow.
They tortured him.
That's right. He wasn't very pretty when we found him.
I don't want to hear about it.
He was your partner. Might happen to you,
I said
too.
I don't want to hear about it.
Well, I'm going to tell you about it anyway. First of all, they
No,
cut it...
don't tell me. I can't stand that. I hate that.
All right, then listen to me. If you start shooting, I'm not going to kill you, or neither are my friends. But the Pawnees will come, and they'll think you tried to fool them. They'll do worse things to you than they did to him.
I couldn't go through that. I've seen what they do.
All right, give me your gun. Come on.
Take it. I don't care what happens as long as they don't get me.
All right. Now go get your horse, mister. And hurry. And none of us will get out of here. The first time I saw Lena wave, I should have resigned my job and gone to Texas on the fastest horse I could find. Handling a man is one thing, but trying to handle a woman is another. Especially when she weighs some 200 pounds and is muscled like a mule and twice as ornery. Lena came to Dodge on a great draft horse with dark circles around its eyes. And she was leading an old jack mule that carried her boyfriend, Emmett Fitzgerald. And Emmett was a tired, pigeon-breasted little fellow with a green look in his face. They weren't a very handsome pair, but we were mightily impressed by him the day they rode up Front Street.
I swear, Mr. Dillon, that woman must wear leather underwear.
I don't know why she's leading his mule. The man doesn't look stout enough to run away if he wanted to.
My, I'd sure hate to have her on my tail. But she's wearing a 6-gun and built like a buffalo.
She sure isn't the gentlest looking woman I ever saw.
Oh, that poor little man, Mr. Dillon. He somehow gives me the feeling he's being carried around in a bird cage.
Now, quiet, Chester. They'll hear you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I never thought we'd make it, Lena.
You mean you never thought you'd make it? Get off that mule.
Sure, Lena. Here. I'll help you tie him up, Lena.
Ow! You stepped on my foot.
I'm sorry. Lena.
That'll learn you to be a gentleman. You up there. Stop that. Who you laughing at?
Why, nobody, ma'am.
That's good. 'Cause if I got the notion you was laughing at me or my man, I'd open you up.
Oh, no. Oh, mine, no. No, it was just something funny I heard the other day from a fella.
What?
What?
What'd you hear that was so funny?
Well, I was sitting there and he come around the end of
Think hard, mister.
You remember, Mr. Dillon, you tell her, please.
Dillon? Why, you must be the marshal here.
That's right, ma'am.
Well, now, Marshal, I'm proud to know you. My name's Lena Wave. Shake!
Well, how do you do?
Over here, Emmett.
Sure, Lena. Marshal, this here is Emmett Fitzgerald.
Emmett?
Glad to know you, Marshal. Emmett's a gambling man.
Oh, is that so?
I want you to know he's honest, Marshal. Ain't you, Emmett?
Sure, Lena.
Say it.
I'm honest.
I only caught him cheating once, Marshal. Ain't that right, Emmett?
I was in bed 2 weeks. She liked to kill me.
Well, I'm glad to know that. About your being honest, I mean.
Emmett'll be running a game tonight. Right over there is as good a place as any. The Texas Trail.
Sure.
Glad to have you sit in, Marshal. And you can come, too, if you watch your manners.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Emmett, I'd better feed you so you can get enough strength back to kneel them cards. Come on.
Sure, Lena.
Chester's been in that game over there for 2 hours, Matt. He must be losing.
Well, he usually does, Kitty.
How anybody could concentrate with Lena hulking around, I don't know.
She does keep an eye on things, doesn't she?
You know, Matt, I feel kind of sorry for her.
Oh, she can take care of herself.
Oh, it isn't that. It's being so big and not very pretty. After all, she is a woman.
That's not too easy to tell, Kitty.
You think she's in love with Emmett?
Well, now, Kitty, I tell you, I haven't worked that out yet. I'm sure been studying on it, though.
Matt. Every woman needs a man of some kind.
She's got one.
Yeah. I feel sorry for him, too.
Oh, Lena will take care of him.
I know. But I'll bet he'd like to take care of Lena just once. After all, he's human.
I tell you, that is not my hand. I had 3 aces.
You accuse Emmett of cheating, and I'll shoot you dead.
Excuse me, Kitty. I better go fish Chester out of that.
That Emmett was dealing, wasn't he?
I'll blow a hole in you, mister. Right now.
All right, hold it, Lena.
She's about to shoot me, Mr. Dillon.
You bet I am.
Lena, I don't know what it's like where you came from, but you shoot anybody around here and you're going to go to jail.
You'd put a woman in jail?
For shooting, I would.
For fighting?
What?
This is what?
Well, now, here, he can put you in jail for that, too, now. Now, here.
The game's closed, gentlemen, for half an hour. I need some beer, Emmett. Come on.
Sure, Lena.
He said, man, I don't care what this thing is. Like that, it ain't fair.
Here, Chester. Let me help you out. Come on. There. Well, are you all right?
Why didn't you stop her, Mr. Dillon? She might have killed me.
Well, I don't know, Chester. I never fought with a woman.
Well, I have, and I don't want no more of it.
You can't hit her. What can you do with her?
Leave her alone. That's what I'm going to do.
You know, Chester, Lena could get to be quite a problem.
Well, she ain't going to be my problem. I'm getting out of here.
Good morning, Mac.
Oh, hello, Doc. Hey, you gonna have some breakfast?
Oh, no, I've already eaten. We'll have some coffee, though.
Oh, good.
They had me up real early this morning.
No? Who did?
A couple of men Lena Wave got mad at.
Huh?
She used a bottle on them.
Oh, were they hurt bad?
Oh, she bloodied them up some. It wasn't real serious, though. All they did was try to protect themselves. After all, what man's going to fight a woman?
Yeah, that's true. But one of these days, some drunk's not going to realize she is a woman, and he'll shoot her.
You wonder if it hasn't happened already? Oh, say, I hear Chester caught it all right when he accused Emmett of trying to cheat him.
Well, he found out later that it wasn't true, Doc. The other boys were just playing a joke on him. They switched his cards while he was under the table looking for some chips that he'd dropped.
If you ask me, a man that'll leave his hand while he crawls around on the floor,
deserves anything that happens to him.
Well, just about everything did.
Mr. Dillon?
Oh, here he is. He'll tell you.
Mr. Dillon? Oh, say, you better come too, Doc.
What's the trouble, Chester?
Lena Wave, she just shot a man over at the Dodge House.
What?
Say, we better get... Is the man dead, Chester?
He sure is, Doc.
Where's Lena?
She's still there. Claims it was self-defense.
Did you see it?
Yes, sir. I was right there. Lena was getting her room key at the desk, and this buffalo hunter come in and grabbed her. Well, he was pretty drunk.
Drunk? At this hour of the morning he was drunk?
Well, I guess he'd been up all night, Doc. Anyhow, he tried to kiss her.
He must have been drunk.
He got her gun hand behind her back, and then he pushed her up against the desk. Oh, she was swearing at him something terrible.
Well, how did she shoot him, Chester?
Well, sir, she just ooched around and squirmed herself along the desk till she'd rubbed her 6-gun around on the other side. Then she just pulled it out with her free hand and shot him in the belly.
She did? Oh, my, she's quite a woman, ain't she?
She sure is. She's waiting with Emmett right inside here, Mr. Dillon. Everybody else took cover. They're scared to death of her.
What are you here for, Doc?
Eh?
You can't do him no good.
Well, I just come to take a look at him. Let's see. Oh, yes, he looks dead, all right.
He's dead.
Why did you kill him, Lena?
Well, I had to protect myself, Marshal. Nobody else would, including Emmett here.
I figured you'd take care of him yourself, Lena. You always do.
Sure. But if you was a man, you'd do it for me.
Now, Lena, look how big he is.
He ain't very big anymore. All it takes is a gun, Emmett.
Sure, Lena.
There are too many people carrying guns around here already. I'm going to take yours, Lena.
What for? I killed him in self-defense.
He wasn't even armed, except for that Bowie knife.
You're forgetting something, Marshal.
What?
I'm a woman.
So?
So? You mean to tell me a woman ain't got the right to protect her virtue in this town? What do you men come to, anyway?
Well, yes, she's got a point there.
Ain't no judge in the world that wouldn't call it self-defense.
No, you're right, Lena. I keep forgetting.
You know I'm right. Emmett, we ain't had breakfast yet, and I'm hungry. Come on.
Sure, Lena.
You know, I've been thinking, Mr. Dillon.
Oh, what about, Chester?
Well, old Lena could have let that fella kiss her this morning. Just a little peck, anyway. Then she wouldn't have had to shoot him.
Yeah, she could have. But she didn't.
I declare. She's enough to curdle cream.
Well, I hope everybody leaves her alone from now on.
Marshal Dillon?
Yeah.
I'm Nate Bannister.
Now, I'm glad to know you.
You won't be, if what I hear is true.
Oh?
Jim Henry was my friend, Marshal.
Is that so?
Nobody's going to shoot a friend of mine and get by with it. Not even a woman.
He was drunk, Nate, and he was treating her bad.
That's no call to kill him.
In this country, a woman's free to protect herself any way she can.
Yeah. That's what everybody I've talked to say.
Well?
Don't sit with me. You gonna arrest her?
No.
Okay, then.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
Where you going?
I'm Marshal. I'm going to kill me a woman.
Nate Bannister was obviously a buffalo hunter, same as his friend who had been shot that morning. He was a huge man with a heavy black beard and eyebrows so thick it was hard to tell if he was looking at you or not. I watched him as he stood in the doorway, having just said that he was going to kill Lena Wave. And I realized that a man that primitive was capable of doing anything, even shooting a woman. And I wasn't sure how to stop it, unless I shot him first.
The way I was brought up, Marshal, that's what friends is for. If somebody kill you, then they gotta kill them.
You do any killing around here, Nate, and you'll be tried for it.
Maybe. If you catch me.
I'll catch you.
Why you gotta protect women, Marshal? Just 'cause they're so weak and puny?
Is that Nate Bannister?
Huh?
You heard me.
Why, yes, ma'am. I'm Nate Bannister.
Well, they didn't tell me you was so big.
Who didn't tell you? How'd you know my name?
You've been spreading it around that if the marshal don't arrest me, you'll shoot me. That true?
Are you Lena Wade?
I am. And if there's gonna be any shooting, I want in on it.
Now, wait a minute, Lena.
I ain't gonna get bushwhacked by no dirty buffalo hunter, Marshal.
Bushwhack? I wouldn't do that to nobody. Especially the lady.
Lady?
Yes, ma'am.
He called me a lady, Marshal.
Well, you are, ain't you?
Of course I am.
Yeah, what's the matter with calling you one?
Nothing. I kinda like it.
Just 'cause you ain't pale and skinny like an ordinary woman.
No. Of course I ain't.
Why, I never seen a woman like you nowhere. You're kinda admirable.
Listen to him, Marshal. Ain't he a one?
Oh, I mean it. I sure do.
Oh.
I sure do.
No, you don't. I'm too big.
Too big? Why, you want to be like all them little scrawny women? They can't do nothing. They're no good.
They ain't?
Oh, no. A real man needs someone, better than that.
He does?
Of course he does.
Like me?
Yeah. Like you.
What?
What?
You was gonna shoot me a minute ago.
Oh, no. I didn't mean nothing by that. Hey, come on. I'll buy you a beer. We'll talk about it.
Well, okay. So long, Marshal.
Yeah. Don't you worry about nothing, Marshal.
Chester!
Yes, sir?
That jug of corn whiskey's still out back.
Yes, sir. It was last time I looked.
Go and get it.
Those two make quite a couple, Matt. Look at them. They've been sitting there most all day.
Yeah, a pretty shaggy pair of lovebirds, if you ask me. How's Emmett taking all this?
Well, he didn't find him till a couple of hours ago.
No, what happened? Oh, where is he?
Nate ran him off. He probably had done more, but Lena wouldn't let him. You know, Matt, I think underneath she's real fond of that little Emmett.
Yeah? She's got a strange way of showing it.
Women do sometimes.
Well, it doesn't matter as long as she keeps out of trouble.
She leads quite a life, doesn't she? Shoots a man in the morning and falls for his best friend in the afternoon.
She might have shot both of them if Nate hadn't started sweet-talking her.
Well, he made her feel like a woman, that's what.
Oh, sure.
Nothing wrong with that, is there?
It probably saved his life.
All right, mister. You get away from
Look,
her.
Matt, it's Emmett.
Yeah.
You heard me.
I thought you'd gone home.
I ain't going home. Not without Lena, I ain't.
Yes, you are. Lena and me is going to get married.
I didn't say that.
I ain't had time to tell you.
I'm warning you, mister.
Excuse me, Kitty. I better stop this.
Look, fella, I'm going to kiss her. Watch.
No.
Hold it, Emmett! Oh! All right, Emmett. Give me that derringer.
Sure, Marshal.
Chester,
Yes, sir. Here I am, Mr. Dillon.
get Nate's gun before he comes to.
All right, sir. I'll get it.
All right, then take him over to Doc's, huh? He doesn't look too bad hurt.
No, sir. He ain't. I'll take care of him.
Em,
Come on, Lefty. You and both.
you shot him.
I know.
You shot him. Over me.
Well, he was stealing you, Lena.
And you went and shot him.
I was kind of ashamed this morning when that other fella tried to kiss you.
You're a man after all, Emmett.
I couldn't stand losing you, Lena.
Oh, I didn't care nothing about him.
You didn't?
No. I was just tired of not being treated like a woman. He called me a lady and kind of lost my head. That's all.
Well, Emmett kind of lost his head, too, Lena. All right, Emmett. Come on. You're going to jail.
No, Marshal, please.
Come on. Get going, Emmett.
All right. My husband goes to jail. So do I.
Your husband?
Of course. We've been married 10 years, Marshal.
I always knew it wasn't a mistake.
Well, he's still going to jail.
Please, Marshal, don't take him.
Of course I'll take him. He just shot a man, didn't he?
He was only protecting his lawful wedded wife. You gotta let me go with him. Well, I can't leave him now. I've been waiting 10 years for him to treat me like a woman. Oh, please, Marshal.
Look, Lena, there's been nothing but trouble since you hit Dodge.
Please, Marshal.
When Nate gets patched up, he'll be gunning for Emmett here.
Emmett'll kill him next time.
All right, Lena. Look, I'll tell you what I'll do. Get out of Dodge, both of you. Right now.
You mean it?
If you hurry.
Oh, thank you, Marshal. Let's go, Emmett.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
Take my arm.
All right.
Now, Lena. Come on.
Sure, Emmett. Sure.
What are you building up the fire this time of night for?
More light. See better?
See what?
Nothing. I just want more light, that's all.
Mister, ever since we met on the trail back there this afternoon, you've been watching me.
We're strangers, ain't we?
Sure.
You've been watching me, too.
I did at first, but I trust you now. Crawl back in your blanket.
Okay.
Well, that's better. Now go to sleep, will you?
You going to sleep?
I'd like to watch the stars a little while first.
Ain't no stars by me.
I can see 'em over your shoulder there. Laying on my back gives me the ache.
Gives me the ache, too.
We got a lot in common, mister.
Yeah?
You never told me what name you go by.
You never told me neither.
Doggone if you ain't the most suspicious man I ever run into.
I'm still alive.
You ought to quit worrying so much. You get old before your time.
My pa taught me to worry.
Who's your pa?
He's dead.
Died worrying, probably.
No, he died of the milk sickness. He was a good man, though.
Ain't any good man.
He was.
Why?
What he believed in.
What did he believe in?
Well, he always said he believed in foot washing, saving your seed potatoes, and paying your honest debt.
Your pa was crazy. I'm going crazy if I don't get the bugs out of this blanket.
Shake 'em out.
I'm going. Killed him first shot. Well, now I can get me some sleep.
It beats me how you know which way to go, Mr. Dillon.
That's easy, Chester.
Yeah, but all the fella said was he'd found a man's body some 20 miles east of Dodge. You've been riding like you knew right where it was laying.
Well, he was a teamster, Chester. I just been following his wagon tracks, that's all.
Oh. I don't know, Mr. Dillon. Maybe I shouldn't never leave Dodge.
Chester, there he is, straight ahead there. Do you see?
Yes, sir. That must be it, all right.
Come on.
Oh. Well, look at there. He's still in his blanket.
Yeah. Looks like he was shot right in the heart.
At least the poor fella died in his sleep.
Well, he must have come half awake. His hand's on his gun.
He never got it out, though. Somebody sure jumped him fast. Say, maybe it was Indians.
No. No, his hair's still on. And besides, somebody was sleeping over here.
I declare. Who do you suppose it was?
I don't know, Chester. But he couldn't be a very brave man.
No, sir, he sure couldn't. One dirty coward.
Go get that shovel off your saddle, huh, Chester?
Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Dillon, it's worth a long ride like that, if only to work up a good thirst.
I've seen you work up a good thirst just sitting around, Chester.
Yes, sir. I'm just lucky, I guess.
Well, I never heard it called that before.
Give me a glass of beer, barkeep.
Beer, nothing. Give him whiskey.
I don't want whiskey.
Ain't you man enough to drink whiskey?
Drink it when I want it.
I don't believe you do. Drink some now.
I ain't bothering you. Can't a man come in here and have what he wants?
Cowboy, ain't you?
What's wrong with being a cowboy?
Nothing. Only I always thought it took a man to be a cowboy.
You trying to start trouble, mister?
I listened to him.
What's so funny about that?
I killed a man once for telling me not to laugh.
I ain't telling you nothing.
Mister, I think you're a coward. You got a gun in your belt. Go ahead, use it.
What for? So you can kill me and call it self-defense?
All right, that's enough. Leave him alone.
What are you mentioning this for?
I don't like gunfighting around here.
You don't like it.
I'm a U.S. Marshal.
Oh, Marshal.
Now, what's your name, stranger?
I'm called Kriego.
All right, Kriego, move down the bar. Go on, move.
I'll see you later, cowboy.
I wouldn't have dared draw on him, Marshal. I ain't no gunman. He'd have killed me, sure.
Yeah, he probably would have.
My name's Jesse Hill, Marshal. I'm proud to know you.
Well, just so you keep that gun in your belt, huh? And stay away from Kriego?
I ain't no troublemaker.
Yeah, I know. But sometimes a man can't avoid it. Not around somebody like him.
Well, I think I'll do my drinking across the street.
See you later, Jesse.
Yeah, so long.
That Kriego's an awful mean man, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, he's mean, all right. Especially when he's sure the other man hasn't got a chance.
Wonder where he came from. I never saw him around here before.
Now, he's new in Dodge, Chester. Let me tell you something. It had to be that kind of a man who killed that cowboy we buried today.
Well, you think it was him?
Well, he could have done it. He's enough of a coward. But if he did, no one could ever prove it.
No, sir, I guess not.
But he'll make a mistake yet, Chester. His kind always do.
Like that material, Kitty?
I'd like to make a dress of it. Is this all you have, Mr. Jonas?
I'm afraid so. But I'll order more if you want it.
How long will it take?
A few weeks is all.
Okay. I'll need about 7 yards.
You'll have it, Kitty. And say, look here. These new parasols.
Ah.
They just come on the Santa Fe today. From St. Louis.
Hello, Matt.
Hello, Kitty. Mr. Jonas.
Your coat's out back, Marshal.
Oh?
You can go try it on if you want.
Oh, new coat, huh? I'd like to see it, Matt.
Well, you wait here, Kitty, and I'll just go put it on.
Sure hope it fits. I had a parcel of trouble talking him into ordering that coat.
Well, he's needed it ever since I've known him.
Men just don't like new things, Kitty. Yeah. Now, is there anything else?
No. That's all for today. How much do I owe you?
Let's see here. I'll have to add it up.
Well, now, there's a right pretty girl.
Go on back to your hogs, mister.
Salty, too. I like that.
Oh, now look here, stranger.
Don't pay any attention to him, Mr. Jonas. You got it figured?
Well, it comes to about $2.40, Kitty.
I'll pay it.
What?
I says I'll pay it.
You'll do nothing of the kind. Put it on my bill, Mr. Jonas.
There you are. I like to buy things for pretty girls, providing they let me carry the package home for them.
Now get out of here and leave me alone, or I'll hit you again.
Maybe you're a little too salty. Maybe what you need is
Go ahead, Kriego. Finish what you were going to say.
It's no business of yours.
I want to hear what you were going to say.
She slapped me. You saw her.
Get out of the way, Kitty.
Gladly.
Now, let's not fight.
Be quiet,
gentlemen.
Mr. Jonas.
Yes, sir.
Kriego, I think you're a coward. I'm going to prove it.
What are you up to?
That cowboy Jesse wouldn't draw on you. But I will. Are you ready?
No.
There, I got my gun out, and you didn't do a thing, did you?
I ain't drawing on you.
All right, now get out of here, Kriego. And if I ever see you anywhere near Miss Kitty again, I'm going to break your neck. Now go on, get out.
He sure showed his colors, Matt.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the first time I ever saw you draw first on a man.
Well, I figured he wouldn't draw, Kitty.
How'd you know?
Krigo doesn't take any chances. But right now, I'm wondering how many more men he's going to kill before he's through. Chester?
I'm back here, Mr. Dillon.
Well, come out front, huh?
Yes, sir. You picked a mighty poor time to ride out to Fort Dodge. If you don't mind me saying so.
Tell me what happened, Chester. I hear that you witnessed it.
Yes, sir, I was right there, Mr. Dillon. Krigo agged him into drawing first.
Yeah. Self-defense again, is that it?
Yes, sir. The poor fellow was awful slow. And you know what Krigo did?
What?
Well, he shot him in the gun arm first, then through both knees. And finally, he shot him in the belly and killed him. There was nothing I could do once they'd started.
Yeah. Who was he, Chester?
A fellow named Lidacker that told me. Some stranger.
Huh.
Why don't you run Krigo out of town?
Running him out of Dodge would just mean he'd go murder somebody someplace else, Chester.
Well, at least he wouldn't be doing it here.
Yeah, I know. But somehow I'd feel responsible for letting him get away.
Varmints like that oughtn't be allowed to live.
They wouldn't be alive if he wasn't so careful about picking the man he shoots.
No, sir. Oh, say, Doc was down a little while ago.
Huh?
He's through with autopsy and wants to know who's going to bury that fellow.
Did he have any friends?
Yes, sir. That cowboy Krigo tried to fight Jesse Hill.
Oh.
I think he was a friend of his. He helped carry him up to Doc's anyway, and he seemed real mad about it all. Quiet, you know, but mad.
That could lead to trouble.
How do you mean?
Well, Jesse backed off from Krigo once, but he may go looking for him now. I don't think he'd have a chance.
And we'd sure better find him, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, Chester, we better. Come on.
Maybe Jesse left town, Mr. Dillon.
Well, I hope so. Though we haven't looked that right place yet.
Somebody said he had a room at the Dodge house.
Oh? That seems to be pretty fancy for a line rider, doesn't it?
He's probably spent 6 months' pay in the last few days. They always do.
Well, they can't spend it out on the prairie, Chester. I guess it doesn't mean much to them.
Yeah, I know, but you'd think they'd save a little money, a few dollars at least.
Oh? Tell me something, Chester.
Hmm?
When were you at the bank last?
Well, I keep my money in my sock, Mr. Dillon. It's safer.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Isn't that kind of tough on the merchants when you go to spend it, though?
Well, nobody ain't turned it down yet. Money's money.
Wait a minute. There's Jesse across the plaza there. Yeah, and that's Krigo he's talking to. Come on.
Hey, it looks like they're having an argument, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah.
You gonna stop it?
Well, if I can. Krigo! Jesse!
They're about to fight, Mr. Dillon.
Murdered him, Krigo. Go on, draw.
Hold it, Jesse! All right, Krigo. Put your gun away.
Sure. He tried to shoot me, Marshal. You saw him.
He's dead, Mr. Dillon.
Well, that was pretty easy for you. Wasn't it, Kriego?
He shouldn't have tried it, Marshal. I told him not to.
You're lying. I heard what you told him.
Well, what difference does it make? He drew first. I shot him in self-defense.
Yeah, sure. Kriego, did you know that man you killed the other night was Jesse Hill's friend?
Jesse was telling me that just now.
Well, I got an idea. You talked him into drawing just to work Jesse up to a fight.
He was both a couple of bums, Marshal.
How about that man on the prairie? Was he a bum?
What man?
The one that was lying wrapped in his blanket.
I don't know what you're talking about, Marshal.
Kriego, how long you been killing people?
Marshal, I killed my first man when I was 18. Fella tried to knife me, so I shot him. I'll tell you something else. I ain't wanted by the law nowheres. Nowheres at all.
Did you ever fight a man who could handle a gun?
What do you mean?
You will someday, Kriego. You'll make a mistake and pick on the wrong man.
Will I, Marshal? Oh, I'm going to go and get me a drink.
Ain't there nothing you can do about him, Mr. Dillon?
Now, there's one thing I can do, Chester. At first, we'll get Jesse and his friend buried.
Krigo's still standing at the bar of the Alphaganza, Mr. Dillon.
All right, Chester.
You going to take him in?
No. I'd just have to turn him loose sooner or later.
Well, what are you going to do?
Something I've never done before, Chester. But if it works, it'll save some lives.
How?
You'll see.
He was bragging about already killing 2 men since he's been in Dodge.
Well, he'll go right on killing men if he isn't stopped.
He's like one of them hound dogs that gets a taste of blood in his mouth and sort of goes crazy with it, ain't he?
Yeah, that's what he's like. Okay. Here we are.
Is there anything you want me to do, Mr. Dillon?
Yes, there is, Chester.
What?
Well, you'll know when the time comes. But stay out of the way.
Yes, sir.
Kriego.
What do you want now, Marshal?
I've been thinking about you, Kriego. And I've decided that you're not fit to live.
You got no call, Marshal. I killed them men in self-defense.
Sure.
Ain't no court in the world that'd convict me. I'm plumb innocent.
I'm not talking about hanging you.
What are you talking about?
Kriego, I'm going to walk out of here and wait for you in the street. And I'm going to wait 1 minute. And if you're not there in 1 minute, I'm coming back.
What for?
I'm going to kill you.
No, I ain't going to fight you.
Yes, you are. 1 minute, Kriego.
Mr. Dillon!
You killed him?
Yeah.
He had his gun out. He'd have shot you right in the back.
Thanks for letting me know, Chester.
Oh, my goodness. Is that what you wanted me to do?
Yeah, that was it.
Well, suppose I hadn't saw him.
Then Kriego would have killed another man.
I feel kind of sick.
You did fine, Chester.
Now remember, Chester, it was more than one life you just saved.
Hey.
What? Hello, Kitty. I didn't see you.
You'll get shot someday walking around in days like that.
You'll get sunstroke sitting out here in the heat and the dust.
I don't see people in the daylight very often. Wanted to find out if they're any different. Sit down.
Well, are they?
Any different?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I've spotted a few I think might be sober. That's different.
For you, maybe. You know, I was just thinking, Kitty. There's hardly a man comes to Dodge that isn't looking for trouble of some kind.
They call it fun.
Yeah, sure. But part of their fun's beating somebody up or shooting him.
I've heard of places where the men have to check their guns when they come to town.
Ah, that never works. You can always hide a gun. Or a knife.
You ought to go fishing, Matt.
What?
Have some fun yourself. Quit worrying for a while.
I'm not worried, Kitty. You know, if it wasn't for all these men stalking each other, I'd be out of a job.
There are other jobs besides keeping the peace, Matt.
Yeah, I've tried most of them in my time.
Hey, Mr. Dillon? Oh, hello, Miss Kitty.
Hello, Chester.
Doc sent me to find you. There's an old man up in his office.
Oh, what does he want me for?
The old man's been shot.
Shot?
Yes, sir. Claims somebody tried to kill him.
You mean he was ambushed?
I guess he was. Anyway, it hit him in the neck.
All right, Chester. I'll go back with you.
He's got a friend with him, but they're both strangers around here.
Now, you see what I mean, Kitty? Young or old, they're all looking for trouble.
Maybe it'd help if we burned this place down. I'll sit here and think. See you about it later, Matt.
Where's the doc?
Somebody come for him.
Oh, what do you mean?
Somebody come for him. That's what. Said somebody else was sick.
You're the man that was shot, huh?
We don't need you, Marshal. We'll handle this.
What's your name, mister?
Peavy. John Peavy. My partner's name's Rives.
Milligan Rives, Marshal. You ain't never heard of us.
Where are you from?
Up north.
Sodbusters don't usually wear 6 guns. What are you doing in Dodge?
We quit the land, Marshal. We're going to enjoy ourselves for change.
We ain't never going back.
Oh? You're a little old to be making a move like that, aren't you?
I ain't hardly 60. Neither is Rives.
Mm-hmm. Well, it didn't take you long to get into trouble, did it?
We ain't in trouble.
Maybe you're not Rives, but Peavy here's just been shot.
I told you we'd handle this, Marshal. Ain't nobody gonna sneak up on John Peavy and shoot him. I don't care if she is a woman.
A woman? What woman?
Oh, you already did talk too much, Peavy. You might as well tell him now.
I ain't gonna tell him. I'll fix her myself.
You'll tell me or I'll throw you in jail till you do. I'm not going to have any women killed around here. Now, do you understand that?
Hey, go on, tell him. You already started.
Well, all right. She come up the alley, Marshal, next to our sleeping room, and she shot right through the window. Rives seen her running around the corner after her. I'm going to fix her good.
Yeah, she's been threatening him, Marshal. I hear to do it.
Who is this woman? What's her name?
She's one of them gals that works at the Texas Trail, Marshal.
Name it Kitty.
Matt, what are you doing here?
I'm sorry to bother you, Kitty.
Well, come in. Come in.
Yeah.
My room's a mess. I wasn't expecting any callers.
Well, it's important, Kitty.
Of course. What's the trouble, Matt?
You know a man called John Peavy?
Peavy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him, the old fool.
But did you threaten to shoot him?
Don't tell me he's come and complained to you about that.
Well, no, not exactly.
Well, I told him I'd shoot him, and I will, too, if he doesn't leave me alone, the old goat.
He's been shot, Kitty.
What?
He wasn't hurt very bad, but he and his partner claim a woman did it. Now, they say it was you.
Do you think I did it, Matt?
Well, Kitty, if you got mad enough and you had a gun in your hand, I'd be one of the first to hide, but to sneak up on somebody in cold blood is... No, you didn't do it.
When did it happen?
Oh, an hour or two ago.
I've been right here, alone. I guess I couldn't prove it.
Well, you don't have to, Kitty.
Thanks, Matt.
The reason I came was to tell you about it and see if you had any ideas.
All I know about Peavy and his friend Rives is that there are a couple of old men who've been acting like schoolboys.
Oh.
Like they've run away and are having their last fling. And I don't want anything to do with either one of them.
Well, I don't blame you. But Rives claims he saw a woman down the alley after the shooting. You, any idea who it might have been?
No. He's probably lying, dreaming.
Yeah, maybe. Well, if you hear anything, let me know, Kitty. And if Peavy gives you any more trouble, send for me.
I sure will.
I ain't been up this early in the morning since I can remember, Mr. Dillon.
Oh? How about last Sunday, Chester?
Last Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's different. That was still Saturday night, sort of. Hey, look. There comes Miss Kitty. What in the world's she doing up at this hour?
She's in a hurry, whatever she's doing.
Matt. Hello, Chester.
Morning, Miss Kitty.
What's the trouble, Kitty?
Matt, somebody tried to shoot me.
What?
In my room, just a while ago. I had a pillow down by my feet. I guess they thought my head was there. They put a bullet right through it.
What, did you see anybody?
No, it came from outside. I didn't dare look out right away.
It's kind of the same as happened to Peavy, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, maybe it was Peavy. He threatened something like this.
I'm scared, Matt.
Well, you should be. Chester.
Yes, sir?
You stay with Kitty. Don't let her out of your sight. I'm going after Peavy and Rives. By noon, I'd searched the whole town, and there was no sign of Peavy or his friend Rives. They'd disappeared. And until I found them, I didn't dare leave Kitty where they could get at her. So I had Chester drive her out to a friend's place a few miles from Dodge, and she was happy to go. Now, we didn't have any luck until the next afternoon. Cowboy happened to mention to Chester that he'd come across a couple of drunks camped about a mile up the Arkansas. So I decided it was worth riding out and taking a look. And it was.
It's them, all right.
Yeah, and they've seen us. Keep your head up now.
You think they'll fight us?
You never know.
Oh.
Oh, boy.
What are you doing out here, Marshal?
Looking for you.
Well, you found it. Get down and have a drink.
Well, what you got there?
Corn liquor. Only about half a jug left, though.
What's that other jug?
We killed that yesterday. Here, have a swallow.
Well, say now, that's right kind of
Chester.
But of course I don't drink before sundown. Leastwise, not very often.
What'd you come out here for if you don't want to drink?
How long have you men been here?
Day before yesterday.
His neck was bothering him, and I figured a couple of days in camp like this might ease it off some.
I get to feeling better. I'm going back and teach that gal Kitty a lesson, though. I swear I am, Marshal.
Somebody tried that this morning.
Eh? What do you mean?
She got shot at, Peavy, the same way you did.
That don't make no sense.
Why, he's just thinking you done it, Peavy.
How could I do her? I've been laying here drunk for 2 days. Anyway, I wouldn't shoot no woman, Marshal. I beat 'em up a little, that's all. You know, knock 'em around.
Well, what kind of men you think we are?
I don't know. Why did you leave home in the first place?
Yeah, home.
Man don't live forever, Marshal. He's got to enjoy himself while he can.
Rives. You tell him what you told me. About them graves.
Well, I was in the graveyard once, long time ago, and I noticed something I never forgot. No, sir. Never.
Yeah, tell him, Rives.
Well, Marshal, I looked around, and I seen that there was as many graves shorter than me as there was graves longer.
And that got him to thinking about dying, Marshal. So, one day we decided to enjoy ourselves and quit working so hard. Hey, hand me that jug, Rives.
Yeah, help yourself.
Hold it a minute, Peavy.
Huh?
I want to tell you something.
What?
I'm going to leave you here, but if I see you around Dodge, either one of you, I'll throw you in jail.
What for? We ain't done nothing.
You have it in mind to beat up Kitty. And if you did that, I might kill you. So stay out of town. Come on, Chester. We left them there, passing the jug back and forth across their fire on the riverbank. Talking of death, probably, and of the hard, empty lives that they'd had. And the prairie often left men a little too hungry and a little too dry. Chester and I were talking about it when we spotted a woman up ahead. She was walking after a saddle horse, which we figured must have thrown her and got loose. She was an old woman, and dressed for Sunday in a long black skirt and a big hat with a fancy pin stuck through it. I sent Chester to catch the horse while I rode up to her and dismounted. My friend will bring your horse back, ma'am. Are you all right?
I'm all right.
Well, how'd he get loose?
Mean critter, he run off.
Oh, I see. You live around here?
No. You been down by the river, ain't you?
I just came from there. Why?
See anybody?
Well, a couple of men lying around a fire, that's all.
Drinking?
Yeah, they were drinking. You know them?
I might.
Are you looking for somebody?
I might be.
Well, maybe you'd like us to ride back there with you. And
I don't need nobody to ride nowhere with me, mister.
Oh, what's your name, ma'am?
What's my name? I don't take to scallywag cowboys asking me my name.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you.
You didn't?
Well, No, ma'am. Of course I didn't.
What's yours?
Matt Dillon, ma'am.
Dillon. I heard that name somewhere.
We won't be introduced proper unless you tell me yours.
My name's Sabina Peavy.
Ms. Peavy?
I've been married 35 years, Dillon.
Here he is, Mr. Dillon. Seems gentle enough. I'll hold him while you get back on, ma'am.
I can manage.
Hey, look what she's got tied to her saddle, Mr. Dillon. One of them old cavalry pistols.
Yeah, grab it and put it in your belt, Chester.
What?
You heard me.
Yes, sir.
You put that back, you thief. What are you, anyways? Suppose you'll steal my horse next.
I'm a U.S. Marshal, Miss Peavy. Everything's going to be all right.
A marshal, eh?
I want you to come back to Dodge with me. Chester will bring your husband in.
Is she Peavy's wife?
You can't stop me, Marshal.
Chester, go back to that camp and shoot a hole in their jug. And when they're sober enough, bring them to town. And don't say anything about Miss Peavy.
Yes, sir, I'll do it.
You're going to be all right with me, ma'am.
Well, you stole my gun and you're stronger than me. I guess I'll have to go.
Shall I make another pot of coffee for us, ma'am?
No. No, thanks, Dillon.
They ought to be here pretty soon. It's nearly evening.
You'll tell that girl, Kitty, how sorry I am I tried to shoot her, won't you?
I'm sure Kitty will understand.
Imagine me being blind jealous after 35 years.
You, told me you were out to kill your husband. Well, if that's true, why would you be jealous?
You can be jealous, even if you hate a man, Dillon.
You hate Peavy?
I didn't know how much I hated him till the day that old fool Rives come by. The two of them rode off together. He come into the house and took the money and left, just like that. After 35 years.
How'd you know they'd come here?
They was always talking about Dodge. They was always talking about laying on the bank of the Arkansas and drinking corn liquor, too. I knowed where they was.
You're mighty dressed up for a woman riding out to shoot a man.
Well, it seemed fitting somehow. Only good clothes I ever owned, Dillon. Wore 'em when I left home, St. Louis.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I ran into you, Miss Peavy, before it was too late.
I'll talk to him. I told you I would. But I ain't never going back to him.
He's had his fun. Maybe he'll settle down now.
Not with me, he won't. Dillon, I bore that man 13 children.
13?
11 of them died. And he beat me every time we lost one. Every time, Dillon.
Oh, I see. Well, where are the other two?
He ran them off. Don't know where they are.
Oh, here comes your husband. Looks like Chester's got him pretty sober.
But I don't want to talk to him in here in front of everybody.
Well, you could go out back there in one of their cells, if you don't mind.
Oh, what difference it make? My hat on straight, Dillon?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am, you look fine, ma'am.
I'll wait out back.
All right, in here. Here they are, Mr. Dillon. Sober as deacons.
What's this all about, Marshal? What do you want us for? We ain't bothered nobody.
Peavy, you go out back through that door. There's somebody wants to see you.
Who?
Get moving. No, you stay here, Rives. Go on, Peavy.
Well, all right. Who's out there, Marshal?
His wife.
What will I do with their guns, Mr. Dillon?
Throw them in a drawer, Chester.
Okay, sir. Hey, what's that?
He's beating her. Come on.
Look at Peavy. She knocked him out.
I think I killed him, Dillon.
Killed him? He sure looks dead. You stabbed him.
I had been. He beat me for the last time. Said he was going to kill me. I put it right in his heart.
When you little devil, I'll get you.
No, you won't, Rives. Miss Peavy, you come with me. Chester, lock up Rives in another cell.
What for? You can't lock me up.
Oh, you ain't even armed, Rives. Get moving.
How about I tell you I'm an innocent man? All right, Fred.
Come into the office, man.
Shut up. Your voice itches my ears. I've had to listen to.
He was going to kill me, Dillon. I know he was.
Well, I shouldn't have let him be alone with you.
You didn't know. What are you going to do with me now?
You mentioned St. Louis, Miss Peavy. You have any people there?
My sister. She's all that's left.
Huh. Well, how'd you like to see her?
You ain't holding me?
It was self-defense.
Then I can go.
I'll hold Rives here till you're out of town.
Oh, but I can't get to St. Louis. Took all her money when he run off. It's all spent. I know it.
Miss Peavy, would you think I'm a scallywag cowboy if I offered to stake you to St. Louis?
Thanks, Dillon. Wait till I tell my sister about you.
I don't know what got into the boy, Mr. Dillon. When I come for you, he was offering to shoot his initials into the mirror behind the bar.
Is he drunk, Chester?
Yes, sir. But mostly it seems like he just plain wants to howl.
Well, he can howl all he likes as long as he keeps his gun quiet.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah.
I hope that's the mirror and not some man he's shooting at.
Yeah, so do I. Old Dolph would hate to lose that boy. All right, watch it now.
Look, he's laying on the floor, Mr. Dillon. He's been killed.
Look what he done to my mirror, Marshal.
You shoot him, Sam?
No, I hit him with a bung starter. He ain't dead. But I'm about to have to shoot his friend here.
Go ahead and try it.
Maybe I will.
Easy, Sam. All right, what's your name, mister?
My name's Blades. I work for Tom.
You mean you work for his father, don't you?
Well, sure, the old man owns the ranch, but me and Tom, we work together.
Oh, my.
Pick up his gun before he comes to, Chester.
Yes, sir.
All right, Blades. Tom's going to sleep it off in jail. You want to be locked up with him, or you're going to go home quietly?
I ain't done nothing. It was that girl over there got him started.
No, what girl?
That one sitting at the table in the red dress.
What, Kitty?
Yeah, that's her name. Wait till old Dolph hears you threw his son in jail.
I'll tell him myself. Now, you get out of here.
I'm going. He's at the Dodge House right now, Marshal. I'd like to hear you tell him.
Can you get Tom over to the jail, Chester?
Yes, sir, I sure can.
All right, lock him up. I'll be back later.
Yes, sir. All right, come on now, Tom. You ain't hurt that.
You gonna let Chester put him to bed, Matt?
Yeah. Sam knocked all the fight out of him, Kitty.
I know. I saw it.
Blade said that you made him mad.
That's one way of putting it.
Oh, what do you mean?
You made me mad. I don't like fresh kids, Matt.
Tom Vickers must be 20.
Well, he's been acting like a kid. You know, Matt, he's changed lately. He used to be a gentleman like his father. I don't know what's come over him, but if he were mine, I wouldn't allow him off the ranch.
Well, maybe you've just forgotten what it's like to be young, Kitty.
I'm young enough to pour this glass of beer over your head.
You know what I mean.
Sure.
Well, that fella Blades is older, though. Maybe he's responsible for Tom's jumping the fence.
I don't like him at all. I'm sure he isn't a good influence on Tom.
Yeah, Tom's too easily led. Yeah, he isn't the man his father is.
He sure isn't. Anyways, he better leave me alone.
Yeah, I'll tell him to. Well, I gotta go see Dolph now.
He isn't going to like your throwing his son in jail.
Yeah, maybe not. But a stranger was shot and killed on his range yesterday. And I don't like that.
Oh? I hadn't heard.
Well, they haven't been talking much about it.
Well, looks like you and Dolph are in for a pleasant little talk.
Yeah. Well, so long, Kitty.
Goodbye, Matt.
Well, come in, Marshal. Come in.
How are you, Dolph?
Fine, Marshal. I've been sitting here smoking a cigar before I went to bed. Have one?
No, thanks. Dolph, I got some bad news for you.
Tell me.
Tom tried to shoot up the Texas Trail a while ago. Sam laid him out, and right now he's in jail.
Anybody hurt?
The boy's got a bump on his head, that's all.
I don't like the idea of Vickers being in jail.
I'm sorry, Dolph.
How do I get him out?
But I'll turn him loose in the morning.
No Vickers was ever in jail before, Marshal.
Well, it's not that important to me, Dolph. If you want him out now, you can come and get him.
No, he's done wrong. He's got to pay for it. I thank you for coming to tell me, Marshal.
Sure, Dolph, sure. But there's something else I want to talk to you about.
What's that?
Well, I heard that a man was shot and killed on your range yesterday.
It's true.
Who did it?
He was rustling cattle, Marshal.
Oh. Well, were you there?
No, but I've been losing a lot of stock lately. That fella got caught by my men and put up a fight. So there's one less thief around.
You know who this man was?
Never saw him before. But there's nothing wrong with shooting thieves, is there?
I'm not if they try to shoot you first.
I'm going to hire me some gunmen, Marshal. I'll show them...
No, that'll just cause trouble, Dolph. Gunmen will shoot anybody that happens along and then claim that they put up a fight. You know what they're like.
Then everybody better stay away.
Everybody won't know about it, Dolph. You don't want innocent men killed, do you?
Of course I don't. But I don't want my cattle stole either.
Dolph, you mind if I ride back out to your place with you tomorrow and have a look around?
I got business in Dodge tomorrow, but I'm going out the day after. Be glad to have you.
Oh, good. Well, I'll meet you here then.
Okay, Marshal.
There's some men branding cattle up ahead, Dolph.
That'll be Tom and Blades. They got a camp near here. I put Tom in charge of this whole section.
They left Dodge yesterday morning early, Dolph.
I know. I saw them leave.
Oh, you did?
They didn't see me. I was sitting across the street.
Oh.
Yeah, that's Tom, all right. Coming to meet us.
He shouldn't stop work just 'cause we ride by. We'll wait here. Who now? Who's one?
Oh. Hello. Howdy, Tom.
Tom?
What calves are those, Tom?
Oh, it's a bunch of men gathered day before yesterday, sir.
Where are the other men? How come just you and Blades are working them?
Oh, we got all but about 20 of them branded yesterday. I figured me and Blades could finish them alone.
2 men ain't enough with a bunch like that. You'd have saved time if you'd kept more men to help. Let's ride over there. I want to look at them.
Come on. Yeah.
Who done? Blades. Maybe I better stay and help you.
Oh, no, sir. We're doing fine. We'll be all through by evening.
Your herd's getting scattered now.
We'll handle them.
Sure, don't you worry none, Mr. Vickers.
I ain't worried none, Blades. Tom, next time you keep at least 3 more men with you when you got a bunch this size.
Okay, sir, I'll do it.
In case you're wondering about the marshal here in Chester, they're going to look things over for a day or so. The marshal thinks maybe he can cut the trail of them cattle thieves.
I sure hope so. We ain't had much luck, except for that one.
Now go on back to work. I'll ride out here next week sometime.
All right. Get that iron ready for another one, Blades. It's red hot now.
Come on, Marshal. I'm late enough.
Sure is a nice evening, Mr. Dillon, ain't it? Don't you think so?
What? Oh, I was just wondering what kind of an evening it is in Dodge, Chester.
Oh, if there was any real trouble, somebody would have rode out and told you.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's been 2 days now. Oh, we better get back tomorrow.
That'll suit me fine. I swear we've rode 1,000 miles over this ranch, and all for nothing, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, maybe.
Why don't you come sit in the porch, you two?
Oh, we're just walking our supper off a little bit, Dolph.
Yeah, I've been in the saddle so much the last 2 days, I need to stand.
Suit yourselves.
Dolph, from what the men tell me, you've lost only about 100 head of calves altogether. I had the impression that it was a lot more than that.
I won't put up with 1 calf being stolen from me, Marshal. I'm an honest man, and I work hard. And if a neighbor or stranger needs help, I'll give it to him gladly. But I'll kill the man that steals.
Well, I wish you'd do one thing for me, Dolph.
What's that?
The next time you lose any stock, send word to me before you turn this outfit into an armed camp.
Well, Marshal, if it was anybody else, I'd tell him to mind his own business. But, I'll do it.
Thank you, Dolph. Oh, by the way, we're going to be riding back to Dodge tomorrow.
All right. But I won't give you more than a couple of days next time.
Well, that's better than nothing, Dolph.
Mr. Dillon, we won't never get to Dodge if we stop and tally every herd of cows we come across.
This is a bunch I wanted to see, Chester. We'll travel as a crow flies from here in. Come on.
Why was you so interested in that herd? We must have rode through it 10 times.
I was sort of interested in proving something to myself, Chester.
Yes, sir.
Now look up ahead there.
Oh, a couple of Dolph's men, I reckon.
Yeah, probably.
Or say, it's Tom and that fellow Blades.
Yeah.
Where's my old man, Marshal?
We left him at the ranch, Tom. We're going back to Dodge.
Empty-handed, huh?
Not quite.
What do you mean, not quite?
Well, Blades will tell you. I just looked over that bunch of stock back there.
Sure. We gathered them yesterday. Now we're going to do a little branding.
You better.
We'd better? You ain't bossing us, Marshal.
Just get them branded, Tom. All of them.
Of course we'll get them branded.
See that you do. Come on, Chester.
Yes, sir. I don't understand what you was driving at, Mr. Dillon.
That's the same herd those two were working the day we rode by here with Dolph, Chester.
Well, say, now, I didn't notice that.
And you probably didn't notice about 20 calves in there that are still unbranded.
What do you mean?
Tom Vickers and his friend Blades are thieves, Chester. And probably murderers to boot.
Chester, there you are, my boy. Where's Matt?
Oh, he'll be back in a minute, Doc. Sit down.
No, don't mind if I do. Say, he told me about Dolph Vickers' son last night.
You know, the only thing I can't figure, Doc, is why he don't tell Dolph.
Oh, he's got his reasons, I expect. But I didn't come here to gossip. Have either of you had supper yet?
Yeah, I had early tonight. But Mr. Dillon probably go with you.
Yeah. Ah, there's
Good evening, Doc. You look hungry.
You look worried. Dolph Vickers, boy?
Yeah. Sooner or later, I'm going to have to arrest him, Doc. I've been trying to figure some way to do it without breaking the old man's heart.
Oh, I don't suppose there is any other way, Matt.
Well, if there is, I haven't thought of it.
Somebody out back, Mr. Dillon?
No, stay where you are, Chester. I'll see who it is. I'll be right with you, Doc.
Sure, Matt.
You're going to starve to death waiting for somebody to eat with around here, Doc.
Oh, why, fasting's good for Manchester. And a little of it wouldn't hurt you.
Oh. Seems to me I spent my entire youth fasting, Doc. I won't never make up for it.
Uh-oh. What's that?
I don't know, but I better go see. Mr. Dillon?
Get down, Chester.
Somebody shooting at you?
Quiet. It's okay, Chester. They've gone.
Somebody was shooting at you.
Yeah. After they knocked on the door, they ran out behind that far shed there. Mighty poor shooting.
Well, ain't we going after them?
Now, they had horses hidden there. I heard them ride off.
Well, I'll go buy a couple from the rail.
No, let them go, Chester.
Hey, but Mr. Dillon, they tried to ambush you.
I know, but I'd prefer not to shoot them. Especially Tom Vickers.
Tom?
We'll ride out to the ranch tomorrow, Chester. Maybe we can bring him in without a fight. Anyway, it's worth a try. For Dolph's sake. Dolph? Anybody home?
Here comes somebody.
Oh. Hello, Marshal.
Hello, Dolph.
Chester.
Hello, Dolph.
Come on in. Come on in.
Thank you.
Where are you going, Tom? Ain't you going to say hello?
I got work to do.
What kind of manners is that?
There's no use running away, Tom. You wouldn't get far.
What?
Now, come on back and sit down, huh?
You do a lot of ordering around, don't you, Marshal?
Sometimes I do.
What's the matter between you, anyway?
Be better if you told him, Tom.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Did you brand those calves the other day?
What calves?
Wait a minute, Duff. Did you, Tom?
Of course we did.
You willing to ride out there with us and prove it?
I ain't riding nowhere.
I've had enough of this. You tell me what you're talking about.
Tom?
Maybe you better tell me, Marshal.
Well, Duff, you remember the herd Tom and Blades were working the day we rode out here with you?
Of course I do.
Well, I saw that same herd on the way back to Dodge. There were still about 20 unbranded calves in it.
Say it out, Marshal.
I ran into Tom and Blades just beyond, and I told them to be sure and brand those calves.
Go on.
So they knew I was on to them.
On to what?
Dolph, I'm willing to bet everything I got that if we find that herd, those calves are either still unbranded or missing.
What makes you so sure?
Tom refuses to ride out there with us.
What you're saying is mighty serious, Marshal. I hope you won't regret it. Come on, Tom. We'll go see them calves.
No.
We're going out there, I said.
I ain't going.
You'll do what I tell you.
Not this time.
We're going if I have to knock you down and tie you onto your horse. And you know I'll do it.
Yeah, you would. Them calves ain't there.
Then where are they? 20 calves ain't hard to track, Tom.
Blades got 'em.
Got 'em where?
Up a little spring. You don't have to say it. I know a little spring ain't on this ranch.
Go on.
There are 3 other men up there. You don't know 'em. They're holding over 100 head by now.
Tom.
You gonna charge your own son for stealing from you? Are you?
Tom, you and Blades killed that stranger to help you cover up all this, didn't you?
It's too bad we didn't kill you, Marshal.
What's that? They tried to ambush me in Dodge last night, Dolph.
My own son. A murderer. And a thief. Tom, come into the other room with me. You'll excuse us, gentlemen.
He's going to help him get away, Mr. Dillon.
Not if I know Dolph, he isn't. I expect he just wants to talk to him alone before we take him to jail.
Yes, sir. You know, I feel a whole lot sorrier for Dolph than I do for the boy.
I guess you should.
Mr. Dillon.
It's all right, Marshal.
Where's Tom?
I killed him. Here's my gun, Marshal.
I'm sorry you did it, Dolph.
I had to. Marshal, I'd like to bury him now.
We'll help you.
Nope. I'll bury my own dead. Then I'll ride into jail with you.
All right.
You'll get my calves back?
I'll pick up a posse when we get to Dodge.
The boy was my responsibility, Marshal. You understand that.
What you did was wrong, Dolph.
You can wait here in the cool of the house. I'll be back.
We'll wait. what is it, Chester?
You know Tiller Evans?
Oh, the mule skinner?
Yes, sir.
What about him?
He's standing out there in the street. Looks like he's about to head down Santa Fe Trail with a big load of supplies.
Well?
Well, I'm just wondering what a nice, sweet girl like Mavis McLeod can be doing with a man like that.
You, jealous, Chester?
Oh, no, sir. But Tiller's such a mean, ugly old bull. Oh, well, look at him. Look at that.
What?
Why, he just hit her, Mr. Dillon.
What?
Slapped her right in the face.
He did.
I told you he was mean. Well, that's a fine way to tell a girl goodbye.
Yeah.
Look, he hit her again.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate a man that picks on women, Mr. Dillon. Oh, poor little thing, she's crying. I sure am glad we're doing something about this.
If I hear anything about you when I get back, Mavis, I'll really whip you. Do you understand?
No. Don't, Tiller, don't.
That's enough, Tiller.
What are you butting in for, Marshal?
Let go of her.
This ain't no business of yours.
I said let go of her.
Okay. I ain't hurting her none. Am I, Mavis? Am I?
No.
You see? You got no right to mix in people's private business, Marshal.
This your wagon and mules, Tiller?
Of course it is.
Then get going. Right now.
I'm going. But if I wasn't in a hurry, I'd have this out with you right here. I'll see you when I get back next week, Marshal. Now, Mavis, you remember what I told you now. Well, do you?
Yes. What's going on here, anyway? Mavis, has this beast been after you again?
Don't you call me names, Kitty. I'll fix you same as her.
I can't tell you from one of your mules, Tiller.
Now, look here.
Leave him alone, Kitty. You get up on that wagon box, Tiller. Now.
You wait till I get back.
He's been hurting you again, hasn't he, Mavis?
Oh, I hate him.
Well, what are you doing with him if you hate him so much?
Oh, he's a bully, Chester. She's afraid of him. At least he'll be away for a few days now.
I hope he never comes back.
Will you come with me, honey?
Thanks, Kitty.
I'll make you some coffee.
Come on, Chester.
Poor gal. You think old Tiller's going to start trouble when he gets back?
I don't care if he does, Chester.
No, I feel the same way. Only he's a mite too big for me. What? Look, there's somebody here.
Are you Marshal Dillon, sir?
I am.
My name is Marcus France.
How do you do? This is Chester Proudfoot.
Mr. Proudfoot?
Mr. Proudfoot. Well, how do you do, Mr. France?
I witnessed that scene in the street there, Marshal. That man should be horsewhipped.
He sure should.
Such a pretty girl.
And she's an awful nice girl, too, Mr. France.
I'm sure she is. Well, Marshal, I don't want to take up your time. I thought it best we have a talk before I go to work here.
You're a stranger in town, huh?
I arrived this morning. I'm from Philadelphia, Marshal, and I'm a gambler.
Oh? They gamble much in Philadelphia?
Men gamble everywhere, sir. The weakness is universal.
I suppose. Well, you can gamble here all you like, as long as you don't run a crooked game.
That's precisely what I wanted to see you about, Marshal.
What?
It's not that I'm dishonest, but I've often been accused of being so. Sometimes makes for unpleasantness.
Around here, it usually leads to gunplay.
Yes, of course. I can handle myself on that score.
Mr. France, I never heard a gambler yet come out and admit he was a crook, but if he is, sooner or later, either he or somebody else winds up dead. That's why I don't tolerate anything but an honest game in Dodge.
You impugn my honor, sir?
He what?
Never mind, Chester. Now, just what is it you want to tell me, Mr. France?
I am a gentleman, Marshal.
Well, if you are, you're about the first one that ever rode into this town. But for the time being, I'll believe you.
Thank you, sir.
And don't be so touchy about your honor. It'll just get you into trouble.
I'm afraid I haven't explained myself, Marshal. There are reasons why I've often been accused of dishonesty.
Oh, like what?
A bad loser will grasp at any straw to save face. He'll even call the deal crooked.
Yeah, I've seen that happen.
There are likely to be many losers in a game I run.
Is that so?
Well, it may sound like bragging, Marshal, but I possess great skill at cards. Also, I'm extremely lucky.
I see.
Now, you may send a man to watch the deal if you like. Perhaps Mr. Proudfoot here.
Oh, sure. Why, I'd be glad to come.
No. You run your game, Mr. France. If it's crooked, I'll find out soon enough.
All right.
But don't get the idea you're going to start shooting down every man that bothers you, no matter how good you might be with a gun.
Do you include self-defense in justifiable homicide, Marshal?
If it is self-defense. But you take to killing people, even in self-defense, and I'll have to run you out of town.
Oh, hello, Matt. Chester.
Hi, Doc.
Fella's been trying to sell me a new horse, Matt. I thought you'd take a look at it for me when you're through here.
Sure, Doc. This is Marcus France, Doc Adams.
I'm pleased to meet you, Doctor.
Doc'll do.
Of course.
Where are you from, mister?
Philadelphia, sir.
Not much sun there.
Sun?
Well, you look peaked.
I've had a long journey, sir.
Well, now, when you get rested up, you come see me, and I'll give you some good tonic.
$1 a bottle, Mr. France. He gave me some once.
I appreciate your interest, Doc. Perhaps I will call on you one day.
Anytime.
Now, if you gentlemen will excuse me, I'll be going.
Goodbye, Mr. France.
Goodbye.
What's he doing in Dodge?
He's a gambler, Doc. Why?
Oh, I don't know. He seems sort of out of place around here.
He says he's a gentleman.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Well, I've heard that easy talk before. I will soon find out just what he really is.
Oh, man, you'd think a restaurant like this could serve something besides beans with their meat, wouldn't you now, man? Honest.
Oh, you got potatoes, Doc.
I'm sick of them, too. Potatoes.
Why don't you get married, Doc, and then you could eat fine.
Oh, the last woman that wanted to marry me was a hog and hominy cook. I don't think she ever heard of any other kind of food.
Well, didn't you ever take her out?
Oh, take her. Oh, man. That was in Arkansas. She didn't even wear shoes.
You old liar.
No, I swear. Her pappy had a saying that every woman's entitled to a baby and a bonnet. But shoes were never mentioned in that house.
You must have made a handsome couple.
Oh, well, of course, I was somewhat younger then.
A lot younger, I hope.
I was, and good thing, too. They lived in a place called Rip-Shin Thicket. Rip-Shin Thicket. The courting that girl was a day's work, man, believe me.
Doc, why don't you finish your supper? I'm not even listening to you.
Oh, and she had a brother called Spotted Jack, and he claimed he never slept in a bed his whole life. Or took a bath.
There must be something else we can talk about, Doc.
Oh, man, well, anything at all. Gee. Well, what are you going to do about that gambler, that Marcus France, for example?
Well, I don't know yet, Doc.
Well, he's been here for a week, and he's already killed a man.
That was self-defense, all right. But if it happens again, he's through.
You think he's dealing honest, Matt?
So far, he is.
Mr. Dillon. Doc?
Well, Chester?
Chester?
Yeah, I've been over at the Texas Trail. Miss Kitty asked me to find you.
Huh? Trouble?
I don't know. But she said it was really important.
Okay. Doc, you didn't tell me that Arkansas girl's name.
Oh, well, it's a funny thing, Matt. She never told me.
Hello, Kitty. You wanted to see me, huh?
Sit down, Matt.
All right.
It's about Marcus France over there.
Oh?
He's going to be killed, Matt.
What?
Tiller Evans is due back tomorrow.
Well, what's Tiller got to do with it?
You remember the day he left? when you stopped him from slapping Mavis around?
Mavis? You mean Mavis and France?
She says she's in love with him, Matt, and she doesn't care who knows it. Underneath, she's scared to death.
Well, does France know about Tiller?
Well, Mavis told him. Matt, I don't know what you think about him, but to me, he's the most decent man I've met in a long time.
Well, he may be, Kitty. But he's sure causing a lot of trouble.
Well, Tiller's going to kill him. I know he is. You got to stop it, Matt.
Kitty, how did a nice girl like Mavis get started with Tiller in the first place?
Oh, she didn't have much choice. The big ape just moved in on her and took over. She's awful young, Matt, and pretty helpless.
Well, if she and France are so much in love, why don't they get married?
I've thought of that, too. So has Mavis, by the way.
Well, maybe France isn't so honorable after all, Kitty.
Give him time, Matt.
Tomorrow isn't very far off.
Before I said you're cheating, and I meant it.
No man can call me a cheat, mister.
I just did, didn't I?
Stay here, Kitty.
Yeah.
You better leave the game, mister.
You're a cheat and you're dealing crooked cards.
You got a gun, mister. Now use it.
Leave that gun where it is. Now, France, I warned you once.
You heard what he said, Marshal.
I meant it, too. He's dealing crooked cards.
Can you prove it, mister?
I don't have to prove it. He's got over $100 of mine. I ain't won a hand at this table in an hour.
See, Marshal? Just like I told you, some men can't take losing.
Did you see him cheating, mister?
I didn't have to. Look at that pile of money.
You talk pretty loose for a man that doesn't have any more to go on than that. Now, why don't you forget about it and get out of here?
Forget about it?
You heard me. This game is closed for the rest of the night.
Well, just as you say, Marshal. Gentlemen, the game is closed.
I'll see you later. So what can we put?
Oh, France. You know, egging men into a draw and then calling it self-defense is going to make your stay in Dodge mighty brief.
I'll have to chance that, Marshal.
How many men have you killed because of that tender pride of yours, huh? Well, it doesn't matter. But there's something I would like to know. What are you going to do about Tiller Evans?
Oh, you've heard.
Yeah.
First time in my life, Marshal. I love a woman.
Then why don't you get her out of here while there's still time?
Run away from a fight?
Tiller's a pretty tough man.
You mean he might kill me?
And where would that leave Mavis?
Sorry, Marshal. I've got to stay.
You know, France, I can't figure you at all. There's something wrong with you, and I don't know what it is.
You'll find out, Marshal. Soon enough.
Won't be long now, Mr. Dillon.
Oh, what won't be long, Chester?
Cowboy just told me he passed Tiller Evans a couple miles down the trail. He'll be driving into town directly.
Oh. Chester, what do you think of Marcus France?
Him? Well, sir, for a fact, I'm dubitated.
What?
Well, he seems like such a nice fella, but he just won't do what he plain order.
Like?
Get married with Mavis McLeod like she wants him to. That'd stop old Tiller.
Maybe.
Now, the very least he could do is run off with her. Mr. Dillon, I just hate to think what'll become of that little girl if Tiller gets her.
Well, one way or another, Chester, there's about to be a killing. And I gotta try to stop it.
How you gonna do it?
Well, there's a stage north in half an hour.
But Mr. France won't go.
Chester, you know where Mavis lives, don't you?
Yes, sir.
All right, go get her. I'll put her on the stage. I'll meet you there.
Okay, Mr. Dillon.
Now, you're going to have to hurry.
Hello, Marshal. Please come in.
Thank you.
I am honored, sir. Would you care for a glass of whiskey?
No. No, thank you.
The very best money can buy.
France. Tiller Evans will be here shortly.
You'll be looking for me, Marshal, not I for him.
Well, any way it happens, there'll be a killing.
One sinner less in the world.
I'm a lawman, France, not a preacher.
Yes, of course. Now, Marshal, I have no quarrel with this man, Tiller. Why don't you talk to him?
Well, he's not the kind of a man you can talk to.
Well, then put him in jail for disturbing the peace or something.
It'll be too late by the time the peace is disturbed. France, there's a stage leaving Dodge in a few minutes.
Is there, Marshal?
Mavis is going to be on it.
What?
Now, if you're the gentleman you say you are, you'll be on it with her.
You're making a mistake, Marshal.
Well, I've made mistakes before.
No use arguing with you, is there?
Well, if you told me what's holding you back, there might be.
Shall we say I never run from a fight?
I don't question that. But this time it's different. I don't believe that's your reason.
You say goodbye to Mavis for me, Marshal?
No. I've just decided you're going with her.
I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Careful, Marshal.
I'm always careful.
No, you...
Hey, good morning.
Well, forevermore. You shoot him, Mr. Dillon?
Where's Mavis, Chester?
She's inside the coach. I'm keeping an eye on her.
All right, open the door, Chester. France is going with her.
Yes, sir.
Marcus, what happened?
He isn't hurt, Mavis. But he'll be out for a while yet.
Why are you doing this, Marshal?
Well, I'm a gambler, too, Mavis. And I'm taking a chance that man here of yours is what he says he is.
He's a fine man.
Well, goodbye, Mavis. And good luck. All right, driver.
Yeah.
Get this stage out of here.
Sure, Marshal.
Hold on there!
What?
Get going, driver. Go on.
Come back here! Stop that stage!
It's too late, Tiller.
You done this, Marshal.
Now, take it easy.
That Tinhorn run off with my gal, and you helped him.
She wanted to go.
Nobody steals nothing from Tiller Evans. I'll find him and I'll kill him. Both of them.
No, you won't.
Oh, I gotta kill you first, eh?
Why don't you go get drunk and forget about it, Tiller?
You helped him.
Don't do it.
I'll do it.
Chester,
Yes, sir.
take care of this, will you?
Yes, sir. Couple of you fellas give me a hand here. We'll drag him over at that trough. Leon, you and Crow.
Matt?
Yeah.
killer bad hurt?
No, you'll be all right, Doc. Outside of being a little lonely.
Mavis is going to be a little lonely, too.
What?
Marcus France did come to my office, man.
What are you talking about, Doc?
His lungs. That's why he came west. I wouldn't give him over a couple of months at the most.
Mavis just isn't very lucky, is she, Doc?
No, she isn't. But thanks to you, at least they'll have what time there is. He wouldn't have left with her any other way.
Yeah. I guess Marcus really is a gentleman.
Barkeep! Barkeep, get down here.
His name's Sam, mister.
That's so? What's your name?
Neil Butler.
Ain't you pretty young to be drinking so much hard liquor, Neil?
I'm 19, but I've been around Dodge longer than you have.
Kind of sassy for a kid, ain't you?
Man enough to ride for Fate Ender.
Fate Ender?
You never heard of him?
Maybe I have.
Anybody that's ever been near a longhorn steer has heard of Fate Ender.
Sure.
He's a hard man to work for, though.
How's that?
Well, he eats one meal a day and don't drink or smoke. So he has a big advantage over the likes of me and you.
Mm-hmm. Does he pay regular?
You looking for a job, mister?
It ain't mister, it's Lee Shin.
Okay, Shin.
And I'm looking for a drink, not a job.
Sam! Hey, Sam!
Yeah, about enough, Neil.
You ain't my nursemaid. I'm buying a drink for me and Lee Shin here.
I've been yelling for one long enough.
Sometimes I'm hard of hearing.
You know, I've seen barkeeps with their heads all busted open.
Shin, huh? And where would you have seen that, Shin?
Texas, maybe.
Well, you ain't in Texas now.
Lay off of him, Sam. He's new around here. Fetch them drinks.
I just don't believe I will.
Now, looky here.
You don't pull much weight around here, do you, Neil?
He's had enough, Shin, and don't you egg him on.
He can take care of himself.
Of course I can. Sam, you give me a drink or by heaven I'll blow a hole in you.
Now, take it easy, kid.
You don't think I will, huh?
Well, you better not try.
I'll try.
All right, you hold it, mister. Watch him, Marshal.
I ain't made a move.
No, but you was about to.
It'd have been too bad for you if I had, Barker.
Never mind that. Throw some water on Neil there, Chester.
Right, Mr. Dillon. You got any water, Sam?
What kind of place you think I run?
Well, give me some beer, then.
You paying for it?
Mr. Dillon?
Forget it, Chester. The kid's coming to anyway. You're a stranger in Dodge, mister.
Supposing I am.
Don't start any trouble, that's all.
I ain't done a thing. I just been standing here. It's that mean-tempered barkeep started it.
You want me to break a bottle over your head, Shin?
See?
Blast you, Sam. What'd you hit me with, anyway?
The usual. If you try that again, I'll hit you twice.
You sure sobered me some.
Sobered you, did he? What were you doing drunk in the first place?
Now, Mr. Render...
Shut up, Neil. I can tell what's been going on here, and I don't like it.
It's all right now, Mr. Render.
You Going to arrest him, Marshal?
No, I got nothing to arrest him for, Fate.
Drunkenness?
He won't cause any more trouble.
You're trying to protect him, huh? Well, it ain't going to work.
He's sober now. Look at him.
Sure, he's all right, Fate. I just had a little argument with him. Wasn't nothing.
I'm not blaming you, Sam, but a man has to learn to hold his liquor, or not drink at all.
It's a lot easier not to drink at all. The way you do, Fate.
Maybe. But I remember the time I felt I'd come to the estate of man when I'd learned to drink 1 1/2 quarts of whiskey daily.
That's a lot of whiskey.
But I quit. 15 years ago, I quit.
You ain't had a drop since?
Only once. A friend of mine who was a candidate for office tempted me into a glass. I felt like I'd stolen a sheep.
Well, you can't expect everybody to feel the same way, Fate.
I don't, Marshal. But I recognize the weakness for liquor when I see it. And young Neil here's got to learn.
Mr. Ender, I ain't been drunk in 2 weeks. Till today.
2 weeks? Neil, if you ain't man enough to stay away from it longer than that, you ain't man enough to work for me.
You mean I'm fired?
You'll draw your pay tomorrow morning. Good day, gentlemen.
Mr. Ender. That old mosshead. He needs shooting.
You'll start thinking about finding a job, Neil, not shooting somebody.
Maybe I'm tired of working. Say, where'd that fella Shin go? It's plumb disappeared.
Never mind about him. Look, Neil, they're looking for some help over at the OK Stables. Maybe it'd keep you in feed till you find something else, huh?
Thanks, Marshal. But I got some thinking to do first.
That Fate Ender sure is a hard man, Mr. Dillon.
Hard enough to cure himself of drinking, anyway.
Yeah, but he needn't have been so mean with Neil the other day. He could have gave him a second chance.
Oh, Neil can get another job.
Yes, I know. But I don't cotton to a man being so self-righteous. My, I'll bet old Ender's made lots of mistakes in his time.
People say he has. Only nobody's caught up with him yet.
What do you mean?
Well, back in Texas, he used to spread a mighty wide loop, Chester. I expect it was a long time before he paid money for any calves.
Oh, well, I never heard he was a thief.
Oh, he isn't. Not now. That was just after the war, when everybody was branding anything in sight. Cattle were running wild then, what with so few men to look after them.
Yes, sir, I know. One of my brothers got caught at it.
Oh? You never told me that, Chester.
Well, it's something us Proudfoots don't bring up very often, Mr. Dillon.
No, of course not.
No, sir. My brother wouldn't like it.
What?
Well, he's a banker now.
A banker?
Yes, sir. At a place called Pavo. That's over west of San Antonio. Real dry country there. He likes it, but I sure don't. My goodness, the wind and the dust is just
Mac!
Hello, Doc.
So you better come upstairs.
Oh, what's the trouble?
Fate Ender. He didn't want to see you, but I sneaked down anyway.
He didn't want to see me about what?
I just took a bullet out of his arm, Matt.
What?
And he's talking about killing the man that put it there.
Who?
He didn't say.
Wait here, Chester.
I didn't hear about no gunfight, Mr. Dillon.
Neither did I. Is he hurt bad, Doc?
I didn't even break the bone, Matt. It'll be a mite painful for a while. He's resting a little right now. That's how I got away.
Well, I'm glad you did.
I might have known that's where you went, Doc.
No man comes in here carrying a bullet without my telling the marshal, Fate.
How'd this happen, Fate?
I'll skin my own snakes, Marshal.
Not around here, you won't.
I've killed men before, and I don't need no help to do it again.
Somebody took a wild shot at you, is that it?
Not so wild it didn't hit me.
Well, maybe he wasn't trying to kill you.
You didn't get close enough for any such trick shooting, you little coward.
Oh. You think it was Neil, huh?
Of course it was. And I'll kill him. I'll kill him sure, Marshal.
Why do you think it was Neil, Fate?
I know it was. Tried to kill me while I was crossing the Arkansas on my way into town. But he was a quarter mile off, behind a bluff. Just too bad for him he didn't hit my gun arm.
Now, wait a minute. If he was behind the bluff, how do you know who it was?
You're just complicating things, Marshal. I heard he threatened to kill me the other day when I fired him.
All right, Fate. I'll find him, and if we can prove he did it, he'll go to jail.
He won't go to jail if I find him first, Marshal. You won't stop me. I've lived too long to be killed by some hot-headed kid.
You got a right to protect yourself, Fate. But murder's a hanging offense these days.
And if you don't want to see me hung, you better move fast, Marshal.
For all his hard-headedness, Fate Ender was as good a citizen as any around Dodge. And in some ways, a lot better. In any case, I didn't want to see him hung any more than I wanted to see young Neil shot. And since Fate wasn't the kind of a man you could argue with or throw in jail to cool off, I went looking for Neil. He wasn't at the OK stable, but a small boy there told us that he'd be right back. So Chester and I sat down in one of the stalls and waited.
Mr. Dillon, you don't think Neil's going to admit trying to stage an ambush, do you?
Well, he'd be a fool if he did, Chester.
And what are you going to do with him?
I don't know. Maybe he'll do it by himself.
Just
What?
like I told you before.
Yeah, maybe this is him.
He deserves to die, Neil. It don't matter none who killed him.
Hey, it's that fella Shin.
Be quiet, Chester.
Well, sometimes I think it'd be worth hanging for, even if I did get caught.
That's more like it, kid. Don't you let nobody bluff you.
He ain't all bluff. I've seen him.
Neil, Fate Ender's like a Confederate dollar. Like 500 Confederate dollars, in fact. He's just that no good.
Well, I don't know. But anyways, he sure didn't treat me fair. I mean, I shouldn't have talked so much about shooting him.
Don't you worry, kid. They can't do nothing to you. They can't prove nothing at all.
Of course they can't.
What's there to prove, Neil?
Marshal.
Take your hand off that gun, Shin.
Why, sure.
Shouldn't jump out at a man like that, Marshal.
Well, my being here wouldn't bother most men.
What do you mean?
I take it you've heard about Fate Ender getting shot.
I heard. And he's saying I did it, too.
Well?
Don't tell him nothing, kid. You don't need no alibi.
Suppose you stay out of this, Shin.
Well, why should I? I'm the only friend Neil's got around
Neil
here.
can talk for himself.
Everybody's got a rope on the kid. It ain't
That's
fair.
enough out of you.
He's just trying to help me, Marshal. But he don't need to. I can prove I wasn't anywhere near there.
Oh? Well, how do you know where it happened, Neil?
A friend of mine met him on the way into town. Ender told him all about it, and he come straight off and told me. Ender says it was at noon, Marshal. You want to know where I was at noon?
Yeah, where?
At the Texas Trail, talking to Kitty. I'm going back there right now and get her to prove it before Ender finds me and tries to kill me.
Now, wait a minute, Neil.
Let him go.
It won't do any good, kid.
Of course it will.
Darn fool, kid.
Shin. Why won't it do any good?
There's nobody'll believe either of them. You'll say they're both lying. He's paid off Kitty or something.
Stop right there, Neil. No.
Hey, that was Fate Ender, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah. All right, drop that gun, Fate. Drop it.
Don't let him shoot me again.
I ain't going to shoot you again. Not this time, anyway. Here. Take my gun, Marshal.
You know, you don't have to kill a man to go to jail, Fate. All right, Chester, keep an eye on him.
Yes, sir.
How are you, Neil?
He busted my shoulder, Marshal.
You're lucky.
I seen him coming and I got scared. But I wasn't fast enough.
You weren't fast enough?
I know him. He'd never bother saying so. But I drew first, Marshal. I gotta admit it.
Now, Chester.
Yes, sir.
Give Neil a hand here, huh? Taking up the ducks.
Okay, Mr. Dillon.
Shin can help you, Chester.
He's run off, Neil. Seems like he's kind of gun shy. All right, now, come on. Put your arm around me.
Be
here.
careful, put it under.
There we are. We'll walk some, Neil. It's your shoulder hurting.
Tell me something, Fate. How come you didn't finish him off while you had the chance?
Well, I would have. The first shot hadn't crippled him. I ain't no murderer, Marshal.
But you'll kill him when he gets well. Is that it?
I'll kill him. Of course I will.
Hello, Matt.
Hiya, Marshal.
Kitty? Sam?
I can tell you're not going to make any money off him today, Sam.
Have a drink on the house, Marshal.
No. Kitty's right, Sam. I didn't come here for pleasure.
I heard about Fate Ender being shot. Is that what it is, Matt?
Yeah. Kitty, young Neil claims that he was in here at noon talking to you.
Yeah, he was, Matt. Funny thing is, he was talking about Fate most of the time. Sam was here, too. He heard him.
Yeah, sure did. If what he was saying is true, Fate's about the sharpest dealer I ever heard of.
Oh? What do you mean, Sam?
Oh, it's just a story about Fate when he was still in Texas.
Go on. You tell him, Kitty. Tell him.
Well, seems Fate owed a man $500 when the war broke out. But he told him he'd keep it for him so he'd have something when he got out of the army. That was during the Confederacy, of course. So when the fellow came back to collect his money, Fate shoved a whole barrel of it at him and told him to help himself.
Ain't that something, Marshal?
Fate claimed the debt had been made in Confederate money, so that's what he paid off with. Pretty foxy of him, don't you think, Matt?
500 no good Confederate dollars. Kitty, did Neil say where he'd heard this story?
Oh, that new friend of his, Shin. He told him. Why?
It's a good story, Kitty. It's a real good story.
Neil's fine, Mr. Dillon. Doc's got the bullet out and everything.
Yeah, there's nothing more I can do now. You're a mighty lucky young fella, Neil.
I don't call getting shot so lucky.
I ain't talking to you, mister. When you come back tomorrow, Neil, I'll have to change that dressing.
Sure, Doc. Let's get out of here, Shin.
Okay.
Shin.
Yeah?
Where'd you go after the shooting at the stable?
Nothing I could do for him there, Marshal. Come on, kid.
Now, you wait here a minute, Neil. I'd more like to talk to you.
What for?
Well, I ain't waiting.
You might be interested in this, too, Shin.
I'll wait for you at the stable, Neil.
That's far enough, Shen.
I've heard all your talk I need, Marshal.
Shen, maybe Fate Ender outsmarted you, but $500 isn't enough to try to kill a man over. Now, wait! Get over by the window, Chester, in case he makes the street. I'm going after him.
Yes, sir. Look at him, Mr. Dillon. Right there.
What?
I got him.
Did you shoot him, Chester? I didn't hear anything.
No, sir. That chamber pot there. I dropped it right on his head.
What?
A bullseye, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah. Well, he's your prisoner, Chester. Come on down and lock him up.
Yes, sir. I'll be right there.
Neil?
Yes, sir.
The marshal here told me the whole story.
Looks like we both made a mistake, Mr. Ender.
Shin wasn't much of a friend, was he? Trying to hide behind you all the time.
I took up with him when I was drunk. That's the whole trouble.
Neil, I'm kind of old. Sometimes I guess I forget what it's like to be young.
Yes, sir.
And I... Well,
That's all right, Mr. Ender.
no, it ain't all right.
Maybe what he's trying to tell you, Neil, is that he went and paid Doc for fixing you up.
He did?
And Doc says it'll only be a couple of weeks before you can ride again.
Couple of weeks is too long for a little wound like that. I won't have no namby-pambies riding for me. You hear?
Yes, sir. I hear.
Barkeep.
Well, what'll it be, stranger?
Nothing.
What?
I don't drink.
Is that what you come in here for, to tell me you don't drink?
I didn't come in here to tell you nothing, Barkeep.
You won't be the first stranger in Dodge I've had to straighten out.
Which
Mr.
one of these men is the marshal?
Marshal?
The marshal. I was told I'd find him here.
He's here. He's sitting right behind you, so don't start nothing.
Oh. Is that him, sitting right there?
That's him.
Well. Marshal Dillon.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you, Marshal.
Well, go ahead.
Do you mind if I sit down?
No.
Huh. Now, my name is Ben Corder, Marshal.
Ben Corder.
This is my first time in Dodge.
I know.
And I want to be friends, Marshal.
Why not?
Now, I figure we can do each other a lot of good. A lot of good.
Oh? Is that so?
That sure is. That's why I came to talk to you. See, whenever I come to a new town, I always get to know the man that's running the place. That way I figure there won't be no misunderstandings later on.
Misunderstanding about what?
Well, I'm a gambler, Marshal.
Dodge is an open town, Mr. Corder.
Oh, sure. You see, I make money gambling. Sometimes a lot of money.
Now, you must be pretty lucky.
I'm lucky, all right. But now, you know how sometimes a player will go broke and start a fuss over it, maybe even run to the law about it?
Yeah, I know. And when he does, he's usually been cheated.
Oh, some losers always got to complain about something.
Is that what you came to tell me, Mr. Corder?
Oh, Marshal, you know what I'm talking about. You take care of the troublemakers, and I'll take care of you. Say a quarter of the profits, huh?
Let me explain something to you, Mr. Corder. If a man loses his money gambling, I figure that's his lookout. But I still don't allow any crooked games in Dodge because sooner or later they lead to killing. So you run your game straight, or out you go.
That's not friendly, Mark.
Now, you've made one mistake, Mr. Corder, trying to bribe me. You make another and you're through here. For good.
Oh, you're one of the hard-nosed lawmen, eh?
You'll find out soon enough, mister.
Will I? Now, I've got an idea that I can persuade you yet, Marshal.
Too far to come by a coach. K-O-C-H-D-E-N-I. Mr. Dillon,
Yeah, what is it, Chester?
did you ever hear of a place called Deming?
Deming? Oh, that's in New Mexico.
Well, is it a nice place?
Well, sure. Why?
Oh, this girl I know is going to move there.
Oh? Is she a nice girl, Chester?
She was.
What do you mean she was?
Well, I haven't seen her since she was about 10, and that was over 20 years ago.
Well, what are you writing to the girl for, Chester?
Oh, I don't write to her. I write to her brother, Welby. He tells me about everything.
Well, I better get out before you explain it to me.
He wants me to marry up with her, Mr. Dillon.
Oh, he does, huh?
Yes, sir, but once a year, regular, I write and tell him I won't do it.
Yeah.
She's getting too danged old. That's what's the matter with her.
Well, don't forget to put the lamp out before you leave the office tonight, Chester.
No, sir, I won't.
Get out!
You see anybody? You want the rifle?
No. Crawl over and put the lamp out, Chester, but keep low.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll wait here a minute.
He'll get away.
Well, he had a rifle, Chester, and he was in the alley right across the street. It was mighty poor shooting. That's all he wanted to do was scare me.
Oh, then it was that gambler you told me about. Corder, huh?
Yeah, maybe. But I can't prove it.
Well, you sure ought to do something about it.
I am. Gonna get something to eat.
What?
Well, you go out and drop the word here and there about me getting shot at.
But why?
Just do it, Chester.
Yes, sir.
I'll be around later.
Evening, Matt.
Hello, Kitty. You, busy?
No? Sit down.
Thank you.
I heard about you getting shot at tonight.
Well, I've been shot before, Kitty.
Oh. And I suppose I shouldn't worry about it.
Now, Kitty, don't start that.
It's just luck you weren't killed years ago, Matt.
It stopped being luck, Kitty, when I learned how to handle a gun myself.
Sure. And anyway, somebody has to enforce the law, don't they?
Well, that's the way I look at it.
I'm sorry, Matt.
Good evening, Marshal.
Hello, Corder.
Ah, right pretty girl.
How long you been wearing shoes, mister?
Now, look here.
Say what you have to say, Corder.
You sure do make it hard to be friends, Marshal. I only wanted to say that I heard that you got shot at tonight.
So?
Well, I'm sorry it happened, that's all. I don't envy a man has to be a marshal. It's mighty dangerous. Besides that, it usually don't pay very good.
And what do you think I ought to do about it, Corder? Quit?
No. That ain't necessary, Marshal. Because if you were smart, you could stay right here and make good money and be real safe to boot.
I didn't know for sure it was you, Corder. But now I know.
What are you talking about?
There's a stage leaving Dodge about sunup. You're going to be on it.
Oh, no, I'm opening a new game across the street tomorrow.
I'll take your gun, Corder.
Oh, wait a minute, Marshal. You can't do that.
I think I can.
Oh, by heaven, you...
Corder went to bed early that night, in jail. But I got him up next morning in plenty of time to make the stage. He climbed into it, meek as a bird, and then it left. And I soon forgot about him. Like so many others I'd run out of Dodge, I figured he'd keep going and make his trouble somewhere else. But a couple of weeks later, I found out I'd figured wrong. I was walking up Front Street one afternoon with Doc.
I tell you, Matt, I'm going to take down my shingle one of these days and let all these people find themselves a good vet.
Who's been souring your milk, Doc?
Oh, Miss Humboldt. That's her. She's been coming in every day for a week.
You're usually complaining about a shortage of patients, Doc.
Yeah, well, that woman's not a patient. She's a suicide.
Well, now, Doc, that might be said of anybody who comes to you.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Oh, well, the price for cutting bullets out of you just went up, Matt.
Okay. Tell me about Miss Humboldt.
Oh, she wants to be bled all the time, and I won't do it.
A lot of people think bleeding's good for them.
Well, I don't, and I just...
Oh, Doc.
All right, Chester.
He's right inside the Alpha here, Mr. Dillon. I just saw him.
Who did you see, Chester?
That gambler, Corder.
What?
And he's got somebody else with him, some stranger.
Well, we'll see you later, Doc.
Oh, yeah, well, sure, man.
Come on, Chester.
There they are. At the bar, Mr. Dillon.
Well, I'll be...
There he is, Toke. That's him.
Him?
I'm back, Marshal. Brought a man with me to sort of look after my interests. You won't buffalo him so easy.
Hello, Toke.
You really the marshal here?
Didn't Corder tell you?
He didn't mention no name.
What are you talking about?
Toke Moreland and I are old friends, Corder. We worked and rode a long time together. In fact, we went through quite a lot. Didn't we, Toke?
Too much, Matt. Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
You're marshal now, huh?
And you've sold your gun to Corder here. Is that right?
That's right.
So you're here to kill me?
Yeah. I'm here to kill you.
Return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment. But first, tomorrow night, Herbert Marshall stars as the Honorable Edmund Burke, British statesman and member of Parliament. Hear his story on CBS Radio tomorrow night on the Radio Hall of Fame with Lionel Barrymore as your host. Now the second act of Gunsmoke.
It was a bad feeling to meet Toke Moreland again after some 15 years and to have him standing at the bar of the Alafraganza, hired by a crooked gambler to kill me. Toke and I had run horses together over in Colorado until the night we rode into La Junta and got taken by a drunken mob and beaten half to death. And the next day, when they found out we weren't the men they wanted, it was too late. By then, something had gone wrong inside Toke. And as soon as he could climb on a horse, he'd ridden off without a word. I never saw him again. Until now.
How long you been a marshal?
quite a while, Took.
I never figured lawmen for much.
A lot of people don't. Like Quarter here.
Go ahead, Toke. Shoot him. I'll back you up.
I handle my own gunfighting, Quarter.
I want to talk to you, Took. Come on over to the table.
No, you don't, Marshal. You stay
Shut
right
up,
here.
Quarter. Come on, Took. Sit down. Well, Took, is this your profession now? Shooting people?
I gamble a little.
Why do you do it, Took?
I don't like people much. Not after what happened at La Junta.
Oh, you got over that beating? We both did. Anyway, that was a long time ago.
Maybe my memory is better than yours.
No, it isn't. We both changed after that, Took.
We sure did.
But in different ways. Now you hate everybody. I just hate mobs. I guess that's one reason I became a lawman.
There was a lawman helping them that night at La Junta. The sheriff himself.
Well, there are good sheriffs and bad.
Like marshals?
Like anybody, Took.
It's kind of too bad you're a marshal, Matt.
You mean you're going through with this anyway?
I never back off from a fight.
Well, suppose I won't fight.
I get paid all the same. But you'll have to get out of Dodge.
You think I'll do that?
No. But I'll give you 24 hours to worry it around.
All right, Toke. That gives you 24 hours, too.
I don't change. Talk's nothing to me.
But money is.
It adds to the pleasure.
Tell me something, Toke.
Huh?
You'd, enjoy shooting me?
You ain't Matt Dillon no more. You're a lawman. Same as the one who helped him half kill me, and you too, at La Junta.
Oh, you're a fool, Toke.
Maybe. But I'm a pretty good gunman.
Sure.
You can let Quarter run his game here, or you can quit.
It's a crooked game. There'd be fights. Men would die.
24 hours, Marshal Dillon.
Okay. 24 hours. Your cut, Chester.
You sure you don't want to stop, Mr. Dillon?
Just because I've been losing?
It could be a bad omen, especially today.
That's like I told Kitty, Chester. I don't depend on luck.
Oh, well. You two still playing cards?
Oh, Doc.
Doc, how many, Chester?
One.
Mm-hmm. Matt, you've been hiding out in here all day long while everybody's talking about how you let that gambler come back to town yesterday after running him out. I don't like it.
I'm taking 3, Chester. It'll all be settled tonight, Doc.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're saying you're afraid of that gunman he's got with him, that toke something.
It's your bet, Chester. Doc, don't get drunk too early today, huh? We might need you.
Oh, I quit. I can't even think of that, Mr. Dillon.
Okay, Chester.
If there's anything I hate, it's a paid gunman.
A paid gunman? Oh, so that's what he is.
Ain't there no way at all to stop him, Mr. Dillon?
How are you going to stop a man that kills just for money?
Just for money? Hey, wait a minute. Doc, do you know where he is now?
Well, he was in the Texas Trail a little while ago, Matt.
Good. I'll be back later. Hello, Toke.
Well, Marshal Dillon. Sit down, Marshal. You know Miss Kitty here?
Hello, Matt.
Kitty.
I've been talking about you, me and Kitty. Been talking about me, too.
Good. That's what I want to talk about, Took.
Me? Well, go right ahead. But don't stay too long. She's a real pretty girl, Matt.
Maybe I'd better leave.
If you leave, I leave with you.
Matt?
It's all right, Kitty. Stay. Toke, how much is Quarter paying you to get rid of me?
$300.
Yeah. Well, what if I give you $300?
To shoot him.
You don't care who you kill, do you?
It don't matter much.
No. All right. I'll give you $300 to clear out of here and forget this whole business.
Why?
Well, we were good friends once, Took, till you got mad and started hating everybody.
You've changed, too, Matt. You sure never were a coward in the old days.
Is that what you think I am?
Well, so does Kitty. Don't you, Kitty?
Don't tell me what I think, mister.
He's full of vinegar, Matt. A girl like that deserves a real man. Yeah, I think I'll get my money from Corder so as I can hang around Dodge and get a little better acquainted with her.
Now I am leaving.
Well, I guess there's nothing more to say, Toke.
Nothing I know of. See you in about an hour, Marshal. Unless you go hide.
I told him, Mr. Dillon.
Thanks, Chester.
He said he likes the idea of meeting you in the street.
So do I. There's less chance of anybody else getting hurt out here.
Yes, sir. Uh-oh. There he comes.
Yeah.
Mr. Dillon, I wish you'd...
Get out of the street, Chester.
Yes, sir.
I guess you ain't a coward after all.
Then get out of Dodge, Toke. And take Corder with you.
Corder don't mean nothing to me.
Does anything?
Just killing people. Especially lawmen.
Okay, Toke. Go ahead.
Watch me. I'm hurt, Matt. Bad.
Yeah.
You hit me. Both times.
I had to.
Funny thing, Matt.
What?
I'm lying here, flooding inside, dying. But I ain't mad no more. I don't hate nobody.
Toke,
It's too late to do anything about it.
Yeah. It's too late, Toke.
Sure. Oh. Here it is.
Chester.
Yes, sir.
Take care of him, will you?
You going after Corder?
Corder isn't the kind of man who'll stay around after this. No, I'm going for a ride. Alone.
Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in the cast were John Daner, Lawrence Dobkin, and Vic Perrin. Parley Bear as Chester, Howard McNear as Doc, and Georgia Ellis as Kitty. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke.